Masters. What else would we lead off with here on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning?
You don't want to go T-Wolves Grizz 141, 125?
We could get into that if you need to. Is that where you were hoping to start things out?
Oh, yeah. What did Rudy Gobert do?
Anthony Edwards had 44.
Oh, heck yeah. 44 is the new 24.
Rudy went 5 for 5 from the floor. Did not shoot a 3. 3 for 4 from the line. Had 8 rebounds. Finished with 13 points. He was plus 17 in the bogus algorithm. Were you good or not metric?
The old bogus algorithm, were you good or not algorithm.
It's not the one that you want to lean on there. But that's not what is important today. What is important is that the Masters Day 2 is going to get it going. Was listening to our guy Taylor Zarzour get it started on the way in. And our leader in the clubhouse is Justin Rose, 7 under. Your thoughts on his game yesterday? He'll tee off today at 7:52 a.m.
Had the putter going, and amazingly enough, Justin Rose's swing coach joins the show today at 9 a.m.
You'll get a little bit of insight into where his swing has been recently and where it has gone. Lenny Acuff is the new head basketball coach at Samford. He'll be with us this morning at 7:20. Barry Trammell tells us about Oklahoma this weekend. I guess I was a little confused about Oklahoma. Was texting with our friend Dusty Dvorak yesterday, and he was asking me some things. I think he's putting together like an SEC top 10 player list or something or other. And I said, who's calling the Oklahoma spring game? He's like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, if you go to FB schedules and you look at the spring game schedule, it says Oklahoma is on SEC Network Plus at 2:00. He said, they're doing a combine. I said, well, good for those people getting to go call that.
Oh, yeah.
How much fun would that be to watch guys run the 40 and get their vertical going?
Combine life.
Yay.
Why you don't hate?
What is there to like?
Don't.
We already had the combine and pro days. I don't need more 3-cone drills.
Don't hate.
You want to look at 10-yard splits?
I don't know why you got to be negative.
I just need a game. That's what I need. I need a game.
Not a practice.
A game. And at 1:00 tomorrow on the ACC Network X, ESPN Plus, you are going to get Georgia Tech. And Brent Key yesterday told us they're going to play football.
Yes.
By God, they're going to play football.
By God, we're playing.
Ohio State on the Big Ten Network tomorrow at noon, maybe. Is it a game? I don't know what it is.
Who cares?
If you have Big Ten Network Plus, where do you even get that?
Julian saying?
That's what they're saying. Where do you get Big Ten? Where do you get Big Plus? B number 1 G plus. I honest to God don't know. Is that on Paramount?
Probably on Peacock.
That's Notre Dame, I think.
I don't know. I can't.
Notre Dame's is on Peacock, by the way.
I
tomorrow
can't point
at
you in
1
that
o'clock.
direction. If you have to subscribe, I won't be subscribing. I'll watch it on YouTube afterwards.
I thought you subscribed to everything.
Not Big Ten Network Plus.
Tonight at 6 p.m., you'll get the UCF spring game, parentheses, practice number 2.
Hang on 1 second before we move on to UCF, which I know you want to talk.
We're
UCF.
actually not really moving to them, but go ahead.
Are you a little down on Ohio State this year?
How could you be up on Ohio State?
I think they're going to really not be good. I don't know if they're going to be quite as bad as what Michigan was this year for the first 9 games.
Well, I had our guy Josh Pate on my podcast this week, and I said, give me some of the teams right now, and you know I've had this conversation already, that you feel extremely confident about that can go win a national championship right now. And one of his 4 to 6 was Ohio State. And I was kind of like, I don't think we spent time on it, but I was just thinking to myself, how?
Yeah.
I know the brand. I get it.
Sure.
But they haven't had the same kind of portal off season. We don't really know what quarterback's going to look like. I'm not going to be concerned about wide receiver because you might have the best player in college football returning there, but you lost a lot on your defensive front and you lost a lot of wide receiver. It wasn't just Jeremiah Smith. I mean, you have the team's all-time leader in receptions, school leader in receptions who's departing. And then another on top of him, really good wide receiver that's probably going to be drafted pretty early. So I find it very difficult, Greg, to sit here and say, yes, stamp their path into the playoff for Ohio State. I just can't do it.
I'm not there at all. I if anything, don't get me wrong, I'm optimistic about what they could be, but I based on what I've heard, Julian Sand has not had a good spring. Based on what I've heard, they might have some challenges in the front defensively. I think they got a couple guys, but I think that there's a lot more challenges that surround this roster than people want to pay attention to. And I know they have Buckeye stickers. I get that. I know those Buckeye stickers win a lot of games. I get that. But I think we're going to see a pretty considerable drop off from what they've been the last couple of years. And it doesn't mean that they can't still figure it all out and be great by season's end. That's totally real. But you do realize they play Texas early, right? You do realize that there's some losable games. Now, there's not a lot of losable games. Let's be real. The Big Ten's just not that good. I know that a lot of people want to pretend like they are, but the Big Ten across the board,
be careful.
They're not. They're just not as deep. I mean, there's Ohio State. Look at Ohio State's schedule.
Well, it gets back to normal after Texas opener, Grambling State, and then the Ohio Bobcats come to town. Then you get a week off. You're at Washington. I don't really know. I mean, Jed Fish is still in a little bit of rebuild mode.
Not
there.
Good. Don't try to spin it. Not good.
Minnesota after that.
Not good.
At Illinois, who I do think will be
will be good.
At Wisconsin, I mean, they're almost hitting a little bit of a half reset button there.
Not. I mean, that'll be a tough game, especially if it's at night.
At Camp Randall, yep. But you get a week off before Penn State. Then you're at Purdue.
Penn State will be a very hard game. It's at home.
You're at Purdue. Then you get UCLA. Rutgers at Michigan. So
there's two losable games.
No. Texas is a losable game. At Illinois is a losable game. Penn State's a losable game.
In conference.
Okay.
Texas
I'm going to give Illinois as a losable game. Now, I'm not saying that I would favor Illinois right now, but I do think it's a losable. And Penn State's a losable game. And at Michigan, look at last year. That's a losable game.
100%.
It is. I'll go 3. You go 2, I'll go 3.
I'm not going to go Illinois as losable.
It's losable. More Illinois losable or Wisconsin losable? Which one?
Illinois. But neither are. I'm not saying either are real likely to be losable. I mean, it's going to require It's going to require a pretty dang big drop off from what. I just
appreciate that I came into this show with a written plan to spend the first segment before we visit with Lenny Acuff on the Masters for you, to do it for you. This is your week. This is the week that you thrive.
This is
the week that you are essentially home. You are home in this week. And now we are breaking down the Ohio State roster less than 3 minutes into the conversation.
You're a great friend for wanting to talk golf. And there is a place in the show where we will talk golf for sure. But you went down the spring game rabbit hole, and the amount of buzz that I'm hearing around Ohio State is not positive.
Spring activity.
There's not positive buzz right now with the Buckeyes. You can tell me all that you want about their quarterback situation is a problem. If Julian Sand's not good, we got problems. Because if you look at their position at quarterback, they put a lot on the quarterback. And I don't know about having Julian Sand out there if he's not good. And we've seen Lincoln Kienholz. He might be better. I don't know if he is or not, but I've seen Lincoln Kienholz play. He's fine. He's okay. But Ohio State level quarterback play? They ran what's his face out of town 2 years ago.
Joe Burrow?
No. One that went to Syracuse. Yeah, Joe Burrow too, but the one that went to Syracuse. Kyle McCord. Ran him out of town because he completed 67% of his passes through for 3,200 yards.
He only threw for 4,000 last year?
Yeah, I mean, can't play at Ohio State. And I think Will Howard's really good, by the way. I think he was super underrated. I think the amount of
4,700, by the way, 34 touchdowns. Kyle McCord last year.
What about the year before? It was absurd. I mean, it still had a good year. It's can't have him.
Well, it was almost kind of LSU running the ball. You could talk about him not being an effective passer. How much did they let him pass? I mean, they didn't let him do a whole lot. So you almost didn't even get a true feel for what he was or could be at that point. So
there's some places that if you don't have a quarterback, you're dead. I do think Ohio State is one of those. Ohio State and that offense, they put a lot on the quarterback position, and it's a quarterback friendly offense for sure. But if you don't have high level play at that position, that's a concern. At Michigan, I don't care. Michigan, if your quarterback's good, that's a bonus.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At Ohio State, your quarterback better be a dude. Because if he's not, you got problems.
Absolutely. We have time to talk Ohio State. We've got their spring game coming up this weekend, or spring activity, whatever it is. Actually, texted somebody who works with the Big Ten Network yesterday, and she told me, I don't even know if we're airing that. And I said, well, it's listed on the TV listings. So this whole spring football thing, like I actually was thinking yesterday, this might be the best thing for the UFL. All these college teams canceling their spring games. Because there are some people that just want some football in the spring. Like, I don't care what it is. Oh, Grambling spring game's on? Cool, let me watch it. If they're tackling each other to the ground, I want to watch it. Let's go.
Hang on a second.
Yes, people want to watch tackle football.
I agree with that. Grambling spring game?
If there's nothing else on, okay, let me preface. If the Masters are not on and any other spring games on, you're probably going to that before you're going Astros Mariners regular season Tuesday night game.
You know what I'm going to do in that situation? Probably abstain from watching TV.
There are times that you just.
But if you told me, hey, something has to be on, you could choose Grambling spring game versus Astros Mariners, I'm probably leaving the TV off. I just don't want to donate a click.
Okay.
I don't want to do it.
So.
But I like where your head's at.
There were a couple of things that I feel like we can come back to these, but they have to be in segment one. They just have to be.
Oh, boy.
First off, your boy Max Homa yesterday on the par 5th, 8th. This happened. We need to discuss it.
Oh, come on, dude.
That was Max Homa hitting a caddy holding the pin in the middle of a fairway. Now, number one, how does he hit the caddy? Number two, how is the caddy standing in the middle of the fairway in front of the green holding the pin when someone behind him is hitting a ball?
Okay, well, here, that's a good question. The caddy is out there to tell them when they can hit because it's blind. It's an uphill second shot. And you can't tell whether or not they're off the green or they're on the green. So traditionally, when you and I are playing golf, Cole, I'll drive the cart up there, give you the thumbs up, and drive back, and you can hit. All right. But in the Augusta National,
bro.
Hey, you got it. Hey, coming in, boys. At Augusta National, they like to dance it up a little bit classier than that. So they have a caddy out there. But yeah, he should probably be getting out of the way the second he tells him it's a green light.
Well, he got pegged. That happened yesterday. Max Homa struggle bus yesterday. The story of the day, however, goes to Jose Luis Ballester, who, number one, had the upside down Sun Devils logo hat on, which a lot of people were big mad about.
I'm big mad about that. And
then decided that in the middle of his round, he had to go and had this to say about it after his round.
Well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box.
Oh, okay. 13th tee.
Yes, yeah. Correct. And then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go. And since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much. And then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like really loud. So that was kind of funny.
Are you concerned that there might be any blowback from that at all? Or, I mean, obviously they did see you, right?
Yeah, they saw me. They saw me. Yeah. I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me. So if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Jose Luis.
Not smart.
He took a leak in Rays Creek. He's wearing an upside down logo hat. Will he be in Augusta National next year?
Unless he wins a PGA event, probably not.
How mad are you?
I mean, I'm so mad at this guy. I can't even see straight. One, you're an amateur. Clean it up. Like you're a guest.
Greg's not calling him an amateur. He actually has not gotten his tour card yet. He's technically listed as an amateur.
Yes, he is an amateur. Like that's
also
what they
acting
call
like
him.
an amateur.
Also acting like a child. Like, first of all, let's start with the top, okay? Rays Creek incident notwithstanding. We'll get to that in a moment. The upside down letter hats are the dumbest hats on planet Earth.
Here we go.
And if you wear one, I'm sorry, I judge you. I do. I'm going to be honest with you. Unless you are 15 years old, they're the dumbest hats on planet Earth.
15 is a cutoff. You let it slide under that. So if you're not of legal driving age, upside down logo hat, you're good.
Yes. Until when you get your driver's license, you can no longer wear that hat.
Got it.
The upside down hats, Guys, like you're wearing a hat of a team. Like upside down means it's dead. Upside down means it's like it's bad. Like upside down things are bad. Correct?
Outside of gymnastics, I would assume so.
Yes.
Let's ask 11. See how she thinks about the upside down.
Okay. Or
22 makes
Bob,
55.
what's her name?
Barb.
Barb doesn't like the upside down.
No, not really. She's kind of stuck there.
What if you flip Barb, it still says Barb?
No. She died in there.
Barb died. Anyways, the upside down hats are so dumb. And it's like, I'm just so over it. You are at Augusta National.
Here it is.
You are playing in the Masters tournament. You're not playing the Muni down the street with your boys slamming beers at 8 a.m. in a one-day member guest. Like you are playing in the most coveted tournament in the entire world. People from all over the world will never even have the chance to step foot on property. You get to put a peg in the ground at Augusta National, and you choose an upside-down letter hat? An upside-down letter hat.
He's 21 from Spain, Greg.
I don't care. Somebody talk to this young man. Talk to him. That's not cool. You're not a bro. You don't bro at Augusta National. It doesn't play like that. You don't bro there. You do not bro there.
So that's more over the line than the other thing you did?
That is immediate expulsion. Like, I'm not
upside down
lie.
hat or the...
You need to, like, you do that in Rays Creek.
Sounds like both.
Okay.
It's time to go. Like, you're not playing today. Like, that's what I would say. I'd say you're not playing today. I really would. I would go up to him and say, not only were I so disturbed by your hat yesterday, your judgment.
God, he would be so
picking that
Augusta
hat
to
out.
not let a guy play round 2 because of his hat. Make him wear the green Masters logo hat with the little hologram sticker on the back that it's
seriously
not a replica.
Seriously.
Apparently, some guy had a store-bought Masters hoodie on today, teeing off.
Which
So
I'm fine with.
this morning.
I'm
well,
fine.
he
You got,
didn't-
hey,
I
it's
don't
a
think
little colder than I was
Yeah, he
thinking.
didn't know it was going to be that cold, so he like literally went in the pro shop, bought a hoodie, and is wearing it today.
I didn't know it was going to be. I didn't know I was going to have the first tee time. Like I get it. Like you got to go buy some gear. You wear some Masters gear. It is what it is. Like all right, it's fine.
Well, it's
Costs you a little
4
money
over, so you
endorsement.
probably don't have to worry about him playing too much longer.
He doesn't need to play today.
At 12:23 Eastern time, he will.
The flipped hat was a wrap. But to do that in Rays Creek, that is hallowed ground. The low point at Augusta National. That is the lowest point of Augusta National. It's beautiful. It's mystique. It's
He thought it was a
incredible.
river, Greg.
He called it a river. He also called it a river. Immediate grounds for expulsion. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out.
I find it very funny. The guy that chose not to have indoor plumbing over AC. He's like, oh, you can go outside. Mad at the guy for peeing outside.
Correct. There are places in which it's appropriate.
He does admit in press conference that there were restrooms on the other side of the tee box that he ignored, quote, forgot about.
You don't think he did that for the guy was wearing an upside down letter hat. You didn't think he'd tell his boys back in the day, hey, watch what I'm going to do on, hey, I'm not making the cut today. If I'm having a tough day, watch, I'm going to do it. Watch what I do on 12, bro. It's so funny. I love.
He has an accent though.
I don't care. Like, you know, he was telling his boys that, watch this. I'm going to do this. Like, you know, him and his boys had some type of bet. 100% that was not. You don't just forget that there are restrooms conveniently located at like every tee and green at Augusta National property. You think that was, you really think that was done in a whim? The guys played 4 practice rounds the last 4 days. You really think he just all of a sudden forgot? No, he didn't. That was because his boys were like, I dare you to do this. Let's wear this hat and do this. Like, you were so funny. We're in college. It's dumb.
At 21, he should be in college.
You got to have some respect. Like, have some respect. This is Augusta National. It's not just your random run-of-the-mill tournament. If you want to do that at the Valero Texas Open, by all means. Like, I get it. Like, you want to do it at the
Phoenix Open?
Hero, the Hero Championship in the Bahamas, fine. Go behind a palm tree and figure it out. I get it. It happens. Like,
Waste Management Open, I feel like you're good.
You want to do it at Waste Management? That's applauded in some areas. But that's the problem. Like, that's like golf culture in some ways now. Like, golly, what are we doing? What are we doing?
He had to go.
Stop it. You and I, but all right, honestly, Honest question. Seriously. Do you think he actually had to go, or do you think him and his boys, oh, this would be so,
No,
it'd be funny if you did this, bro?
I don't think he has a full understanding of Augusta National and
You better learn.
what it all is. I get that, but
There's an obligation to learn about the place that you're going to play. When you qualify for Augusta National and you play in the tournament.
he doesn't care about Ben Hogan.
Clearly, you wore an upside-down letter
The
hat.
homes that have been purchased and bulldozed so they can have longer fairways, that he doesn't know about that. He has no idea. Why would he care?
But back to the upside-down letter for a second.
John, I'm with you. I do understand that. I do agree with you. It is very interesting that the hat is more offending to him than urinating
The hat
in Race
is so
Creek.
offensive because it all goes together. The guy that would go in Race Creek is the guy that would wear the upside-down letter hat because he thinks it's funny because the world's a joke. Everything's a joke. Nothing's serious. Nothing matters. It's all a joke. Do you realize, like, Texas Longhorn fans freak out when you put the horns down, right? Because guess what? Doing anything upside down is disrespectful, and you're wearing your school's hat upside down. Imagine wearing a crimson tide hat upside down. Imagine that.
They've got
an Auburn hat upside down.
They've got him.
I'm sure they got him. I'm sure they got him. And it doesn't make them any less dumb.
I do think that they look dumb, but I don't think that there's some hidden meaning that bothers me.
In the Masters?
Now, if he came out today with the Masters logo upside down on his hat,
exactly.
I might give him credit for going that far with it.
Exactly. People don't even step on the logo at the 50-yard line during warm-ups because it's disrespectful. Now you're going to put the logo upside down and wear it on a hat?
Tell Ohio State, Michigan that.
Logos matter. Brands matter. Logos matter. You can't put them upside down.
Okay, we will. This will be brought up later in the show today. It has to have more of a conversation. Maybe, Damien, let's get a poll question out. What's more offending, the upside down letters on a hat or using the restroom in Rays Creek? I would like to hear from our listeners on what they feel about that.
They go hand in hand. That poll question is not fair.
Well, it's just to give us an idea of where people are.
Because the bro that would wear that hat.
Okay, maybe we just ask, should Jose Luis be able to play his second round today?
The 40-year-old dude that wears that hat that still thinks he's in college would do that in Race Creek.
I believe he's 21, so.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not excusing, but I do know that spring weather in Alabama can be unpredictable. That's why you need the reliability of a Trane, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. Right now, you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. Find out more at Trane.com. See, I had that bookmarked, but we had to talk Ohio State spring game. So
we need to give people what they
very
want.
Very rarely,
first.
college football gets us off track. We will talk to Lenny Acuff, the new Stanford head basketball coach, next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, Friday, April 11th, 7:25, right here on Jocks 94.5. Watch live on YouTube, search Jocks 94.5, and you can tune in, watch every day, or catch up if you missed the show. Going to the Higginbotham hotline now, welcoming in new Sanford head basketball coach, Lenny Acuff, one of the most successful basketball coaches in collegiate hoops in the state of Alabama. And, Coach, you took your career outside of the state. And sometimes I feel like when we've been in the same place for a long time, there's maybe things that we're just not noticing about ourselves, or maybe self-scouting doesn't take place because we're so comfortable. And that's not a knock, and it's just kind of the reality of how things happen. You had a great run at UAH, but what did you learn about yourself as a coach, as a person, by leaving a job that you probably could have had forever if you wanted it?
Yeah. First off, thank you for having me, guys. Cole, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing for me is I just never wanted to get comfortable being comfortable. My 6 years at Lipscomb, my goodness, did I learn a lot. My first year there, we got to the championship game on Sunday. Well, COVID hits on Wednesday. And as you know, those 18 to 24 months are extremely challenging. And then trying to figure out what everything looks like after that, it made me grow. It very much got me outside my comfort zone. The other thing it was able to do is it stretched me socially. It stretched me in every way, just because, used to, when I grew up in Huntsville, I lived there my whole life pretty much. And everywhere you went, you knew someone, and it was easy. And it was really healthy for me at that stage in my life to do that. And I think also just learn how to navigate Division I basketball. It's different, and a bigger staff, more competitive night in and night out. And so I think it has helped me, and hopefully it'll show its fruit here at Sanford.
What was it about the Sanford job that made it so appealing?
Yeah, Greg, I obviously Bucky did an incredible job, and I've said this to everyone that's asked. I have no interest in replacing Bucky. Bucky is someone I respect greatly. He's a good friend, and Bucky does things his way, and obviously it worked. That's not my job. My job is to keep Sanford basketball at the top of the Southern Conference. That's what my job is, and I do think there's some parallels when I took the Lipscomb job. I think I shared with you guys a couple of weeks ago when you were nice enough to have me on. We made the NCAA tournament that when I went to Lipscomb, they had lost more points than in the history of Division I basketball. They've been in the finals NIT. So it was basically a complete reboot. And so it's going to be the same thing here. And so I think just being comfortable enough that I've been through that. I know how hard it's going to be. It won't be easy, but I'm comfortable that I think we can navigate it. And things have changed a lot in the last 6 years. But the other thing, too, Sanford is a special place. I know, Cole, you went to high school right across the street from there. And I have so many dear friends in Birmingham. My daughter actually lives right down the street from Sanford. She's a football girl, guys. She married a football player from North Dakota State. And so he knows how to win games. And she's expecting, I'm hopefully my son's assistant coach at Montevallo. I'm hopeful to be able to add him to my staff. And, as I kind of go down the stretch run of my career, I wanted to do it around family. It also gets my wife 3.5 hours closer to her parents in Mobile. And Alabama is home. It's a state that means a lot to me. And it's been really refreshing over the last 72 hours just to hear from so many high school coaches that I have relationships with, and hopefully will help us in this whole process.
Coach, you're almost stealing part of the answer of one question that I felt like I've had to, or just at least really wanted to ask you, and that is, in today's college basketball, how much does geography and familiarity with it matter? You know those high school coaches in this state. You know a lot of people in this state because of your time at UAH, but we also see roster movement and how often that takes place. It does sound like that's going to be important for you. Where does the importance lie, maybe compared to where it did a decade ago?
Yeah, I think it's everything, guys. We've had 2 kids commit to come back, but their whole team went to portal. And so, and that's the way it is. That's the way this thing works, and that's okay. But I do think that as much as any time in college basketball, there's a couple of things that matter more than ever. First off, who do you know within the profession? who can help you when they know their guys are, whatever that looks like, your connections and your staff's connections. You have to have connections because we really did well in the transfer portal at Lipscomb, but it was just because of the people we knew, relationships we had. And then secondly, there's no secrets to this stuff. You have to have support. And I think it's a lot easier to have support if you have true relationships in the community and you can build something that people want to support. And and Bucky has a strong following here. There's no doubt about that. And we need to continue those relationships. And I do think that maybe there's some new relationships that I have from Huntsville and some other places that will want to be involved in Sanford basketball and support it. But I think as much as anything at this time, you really have to be efficient and you have to be a great steward of your resources. And that will be something that's very, very important going forward.
Well, you definitely will have support in the community. I think my kids are already signed up for Sanford basketball camp. I don't know if Cole's are, but
my wife asked me when she heard that Bucky was going to A&M. She's like, so the Bucky camp is out? And I was like, I think I know who the next guy's going to be. We'll be fine. We'll still send him over there. We're good.
Sounds good. You won't see any more talented kids than the Cubelic and the McElroy kids. That's for sure. Yeah,
well,
they'll be really talented, really gifted. Yeah.
Well, that goes without being said.
Yeah, right.
And so I look forward to that and just having the chance to be in their presence. But no, we will. There'll be a lot of things that will be the same going forward. Basketball camp will be a big part of that. And Cole lived in Huntsville for a while. And by the way, Cole, man, I'm so proud of you. And this is not lip service. I remember driving to work some mornings. You're on the radio there, and you're doing it by yourself. And I'm a big fan of guys that hit triples, and you've done amazing. But we're gonna keep things a lot the same. Basketball camp was a big deal. Huntsville was a big deal at Lipscomb, but you have to build a total program. And right now for us is we have to find the right guys for Sanford. This thing is all about fit. You have to get guys that fit Sanford, and I do think we have a ton to offer. It's really a special place.
How important is it to be involved in the community? Because I feel like we've talked a little bit with Trent Dilfer about this. He's leaned heavily into the community and making sure that the community understands they represent all the different towns of Birmingham. How important is it for you to make sure that the community presence is felt? Because look, we've gone to Sanford games, taking the kids over there. It's terrific experience. It's great for the kids. It's a lot easier for us than to go to say Auburn for Cole or to Tuscaloosa for me. So we've gone over there just so they can get a taste of college sports. So how big is that to go and make sure that you're a presence and a fixture in this area?
Yeah, Greg, here are two things on that. First off, when I went to Lipscomb 6 years ago, a month before that, they'd hired Trent as the football coach at the high school there on campus. And so I saw what he did there, and we're pulling hard for him to get going at UAB. But here's the thing about all this, and I told Martin Newton this when I visited with him and Dr. Taylor about the job. 30 years ago, you coaches, high school coaches, college coaches, you work from the floor to the community. Well, now it's the reverse. You have to work from the community to the floor. Used to, if you're a great coach, or I'm not a great coach, but if you won a lot of games, had a lot of credibility, that coach in that community, the high school football coach, basketball coach, they were just untouchable almost, and people supported them because of what they did there. Where if you're not good in the community and you can't work towards the floor, you have no chance now, none. And I think it's really important when you do this too. I understand over the mountain, some of the best players I've ever had at Huntsville came from this area. Within 3 miles of Sanford. And the thing, everybody talks about athletics as the front porch of the university, which I agree with that. But I've never seen a porch 500 yards from the house. The porch has to be an extension of the house. We have to be an extension of Sanford. What Sanford's about and what the basketball team's about can't be in conflict. And so I think as you tie into the community and, find a church home and all the things that go into that, you've got to be consistent in your message.
Have you heard from Majette? I know he's got to be pumped.
Yeah, I have. All those guys have been so good, and Josh is really special to me. And, I had 3 or 4 kids from Homewood when I was there. I had the Smith brothers from Hoover, which are all All-Americans. One of my favorite players ever was David Ivey from Homewood, the Gardner brothers from Homewood, Xavier Baldwin from Minor High School. Those guys, they're special to me. You know, when we won the tournament at Lipscomb about a month ago, they were all at the game. And, you know, that was a special thing. And when you do this, you just want to have stories, memories, and relationships. And I think that's what we're going to be about. That's what you want to do. You want to say, gosh, man, that was a great experience, and I'm really glad I got to be a part of it. And I'm not going to let that go away in what we're doing now. I know there's a lot of transactional elements to this stuff, but this is going to be a relational deal for me because that's what I believe in.
Coach, we appreciate the time today. We're very excited for you. Didn't even know that your daughter and her family had moved back here to Birmingham, so it's really cool you're going to be near them. And like Greg said, well, we're at a bunch of Sanford games because Martin Newton takes good care of us, and we love coming over there. The kids love it. It's just it's a great little venue. It's fun getting in and out of. It's exciting basketball, so we'll support you, and we'll be there, and I look forward to having you back again soon.
Thank you, guys. Look forward to being around and listening to you every morning. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Lenny Acuff, head coach now of the Sanford Bulldogs basketball team. Cool to have him in town. Somebody that's had a ton of success coaching college basketball here in the state of Alabama. Maybe dropped a little hint about his staff there that from a prior guest that we've had on.
So what are you joining?
Careful with. I don't know if they want me on the basketball staff, but either way, we'll
foul them.
We got to get back to our previous topic, though.
Oh boy,
Greg is angry.
Still.
We want to hear from you. 800-239-9569, 800-239-WJOX. Text in 205-834-9450. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. Do you agree? Upside down logo hat and using the restroom in Rays Creek is a problem at Augusta National. Next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. 7:43, Friday, April 11th. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Jose Luis Ballester is the topic of conversation right now. He urinated in Rays Creek off 13 yesterday and wore a San Diego State Sun Devils hat with Sun Devils arched, written upside down. You guys have seen the hats that are floating around. Greg's not a fan and doesn't feel like he should play his round today. What do you think? 800-239-9569. Have you heard from anybody else over there that was as frustrated as you were?
No, I haven't talked to anybody.
You were busy accepting awards yesterday, for those that don't know.
No, I didn't talk to anybody over there. I didn't even know about this incident until last night, about 10 o'clock last night. Shockingly, it didn't make it into the Masters post-game coverage I was listening to.
Jameson Ling sends a tweet in, new merch just dropped. He's got the Mac and Cube logo upside down on a hat.
Oh, that's good material. That's good material. You got to give respect where respect is due. The upside down logo thing to me, guys, an upside down logo is a form of protest. I think it is a contradictory meaning, and yet people are voluntarily wearing these things. It is mind blowing to me.
I don't think that anybody views it that way.
Well,
obviously.
they should. Logos matter.
Jolly says maybe he's just stupid. It's free and more common than one would expect.
Not inaccurate. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just my own appreciation and respect for the Masters and the history and the tradition of the Masters. Like, imagine, you know what the equivalent, you know what things like backwards or upside down means? Could you imagine, seriously, imagine showing up to play Augusta National wearing a backwards flat bill? That to me is the exact same thing. Wearing that dumb hat.
Hold on a second now. Ricky Fowler wore a flat bill for years.
Not backwards.
Not backwards, but he did have the flat bill.
I can live with the flat bill. Not backwards. I don't mind
I'm
a flat
surprised
bill.
they didn't ban him for like the full fluorescent orange attire, but to each their own.
It's for the kids.
Ugh.
But seriously, it's the exact same thing as wearing a hat backwards. And I'm telling you, I think the person.
Sidebar on the Ricky Fowler thing.
Oh boy, here we go.
You say you wear this for marketing and like Puma pays for whatever.
Yes.
You've played a lot more golf in your day than I have. Give me the last rando walking around Birmingham that had the full fluorescent blue outfit on. Or the all neon yellow outfit on with the flat bill hat in the yellow belt.
It's funny if you go to a golf tournament back in the day, like there were kids wearing full Ricky Fowler orange outfits.
Well, they should have banned them from that course too.
Kids? They're like 6, 8.
I guess at least you could see them. They weren't like the caddy yesterday that got hit by Max Homa.
That was before I had kids, so I wasn't really good at placing their age. They could have been somewhere between the ages of like 3 and 11.
The Unhipster says the Masters need to clone Jose Luis's rear end so they can kick him out twice.
Thank you. Thank you. This is hallowed ground. Have respect for the place.
Houston tweets in just a pure lack of impulse control.
Why is nobody mad about the hat? I want people to be mad about the hat. What he did in Rays Creek is beyond. That is beyond. That is unthinkable. That's unthinkable.
The view of McElroy on YouTube today is great, by the way. Just sitting sideways.
I believe it's called a Dutch tilt in Hollywood circles.
Put that on. Put Paul Wall on when we come back and leave the camera how it is right now. Get that going.
So if it keeps going and it's upside down, are people going to riot if Greg's camera angle's upside down?
They should. No, they just realized that we are protesting Greg and his discussion points today.
No, that's not true. Because you, even though you don't want to say it, you agree with the logo hats.
I think they're dumb.
Thank you.
I don't think that there are people walking around that think they have any idea that things upside down are being protested or satanic or anything else of that nature. I don't think that
if you
kids
do an
have
upside,
any idea.
exactly, perfect example. You do an upside down cross.
I get that, but I don't think people know that.
You should.
I think if
you
Spencer
should.
Gift started selling upside down cross necklaces today, there are 13 and 14-year-olds that would go buy them and think they're cool, but they don't know. They're just dumb.
Well, you need to know.
My kid thinks a dog tag necklace from Dave & Buster's is cool. He doesn't know any better. He hadn't grown up to seeing that might not be the coolest thing out there yet.
Well, I'm sorry. You need to know.
I tried.
It's not on me. It's not on me. I can't help you. We went through a dog tag phase. 100%. We went through a dog tag phase.
I think it's
and
more
then he
that-
took the
more than
dog
you
tag
want.
off and just had the little necklace thing without
boy.
the dog tag because he thought that was cool too. But like, hey, we have now progressed.
PC
He
Beach
did
98.
ask for a shark tooth necklace when we were at the beach.
Oh.
That didn't happen. So
Your
we're
boy
getting
Peter Burns would have been mad about that. He'd have bought it for him
yeah, probably.
on the spot.
Now he's more of a puka shell
There
guy.
you go. Yeah.
But seriously, like, what are we doing? We're at Augusta National.
Jolly says he hasn't seen the upside down logos.
Oh my gosh.
There's a new
Well,
era.
you know what,
fitted
Jolly?
hat snob. It
You know what,
sounds like
Jolly?
hearsay.
You have good friends. You surround yourself with good people. If you wear the upside down logo, you're just trying too hard. You think you're cool. You're not cool. It's not cool. Especially when you're like the 40-year-old guy, the 40-year-old plus guy that's wearing the upside down hat, then you're really embarrassing.
So crisscross was satanic.
That wasn't upside down. It's backwards.
Well, that's the same thing.
Upside down's different.
Well, was
okay.
it Twisted Sister back in the day if you played it backwards?
Oh.
Supposedly it.
Well, I
said
think it
things-
was some of Ozzy's stuff too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
There you go.
Because they were that progressive. that
Definitely.
They could actually say words that were going to come back out the other way.
Yep.
All right.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just taking it too personal. Maybe it's just me.
Couple other updates from Augusta National next on Mac and Cube in the morning. I was going to thought for a second you were telling me that there was some hidden meaning in this song. And I was like, I enjoyed this track back in the day so many times. And little did I know I was protesting something.
Who knew?
I didn't. Man, you're going to have to wait for Greg to tell you how much more he hates Jose Luis's hat and how he shouldn't be playing his second round, which, by the way, our poll question up now on the Twitter feed at Mac and Cube, 63% say Jose Luis should not be able to play today's round.
Those 63% are
what you do to his hat right
those
there?
Are my
Crumple
freaking,
it up?
Yeah, those are my freaking people. I love y'all. I love y'all. There is still decency in the world.
You have to wait to hear the rest of this conversation. One thing you never have to wait for is your dental care.
That's because Family Care Dental has you taken care of. At the urgent care office, you can be seen the same day. And 5 locations to make it easy on you in Hoover, Fultondale, Homewood, Alabaster, and now open in Trustful. They can get you in today, and they have free teeth whitening if you schedule a routine cleaning. Friday and Saturday appointments are available, so your schedule's a challenge. Don't worry about it. They'll get you taken care of at Family Care Dental. Give them a call today, 874-9605. That's Family Care Dental, 874-9605.
All right, folks texting in me personally that they agree with you that this is disrespectful, that he shouldn't be able to continue to play. As I stated, a lot of folks on the poll question agreeing with you.
I want to add insult to injury. Insult to injury with 100%. I just wanted to pull him from the first tee. 4, please. Biastair now driving. He hits a shot. Say, sir, boy, you're out. That would be amazing.
Right in the middle of the fairway.
That wasn't like him.
No.
Is
that Max Homa?
No, JJ Spawn.
I just wonder if Max is taking target on any caddies again today. Dan Strickland tweets in, I'm willing to bet Texas fans do not wear the upside down logo hat, but there's definitely a market for them with OU, ATM, and UGA fans.
What if you're an Oklahoma fan and you bought one of those hats and it was an upside down Longhorns? That would be
the upside down Texas hat.
That would be pretty funny. That's the point. That's the point. And these people are willingly wearing this.
Jolly says he hasn't seen the upside down logo hat.
And then Jolly feels like one of my friends. I want to be around people that want nothing to do with those hats.
Godfather of Soul, Waste Management Open? Sure. Wear whatever hat you want. Masters should be disqualified.
Thank you. Oh, but it's the PGA Tour. It should be all the same rules for everybody. No, it shouldn't. The Masters is different. It's different. There's only 91 players, 89 Masters ever. There's only 95 players that are playing. It's different. You cannot pretend like it's the same. It's not the same. Not the same.
Just fixed the camera. And he went and
is it sideways again?
I'm going to knock it over again.
There it goes, sitting side.
Thanks a lot, Sevi Biastair. I'm in a dark spot. I'm angry and I'm mad.
I'm only mad that we don't continue this conversation when we come back. We will ask Barry Tremmel, who covers Oklahoma, his expectations for this weekend and what I guess is going to be a combine, quote unquote. But what he has heard about the new quarterback, the new offense, the new offensive coordinator so far through spring for the Oklahoma Sooners, who Greg and I believe could be a surprise team in the SEC this fall. A lot more spring football to get to throughout the rest of the show, more Masters to get to. We will have a Masters update for you as multiple golfers now off the first tee in Augusta for round number 2. Plenty else to get to. Is an SEC quarterback negotiating with his coaching staff? That'll be a part of the conversation next hour as well. But Barry Tremmel talking OU right after this. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Before we get to Barry Trammell to talk Oklahoma, a quick Masters update from Augusta, Greg. What is happening so far early this morning in round number 2?
The leader, Justin Rose, off on 1. Hit a nice, beautiful cut off the left-hand side. Landed just in the middle of the fairway, 272 yards off the hole. But his approach shot missed right. He'll be short right, trying to get to a back right pin up there. In a little bit of a tough spot, so a difficult up and down to save par to remain at 7 under.
Okay. Our leaderboard has not changed, though?
No. There's like 5 people on the course.
Got it. Justin Rose still 7 under. On the day, let's go to the Higginbotham hotline. Welcome in, Barry Trammell, covers the Oklahoma Sooners. And Oklahoma has what coming up this weekend, Barry? We're not sure what to call these things anymore. Spring game, half of a practice, combine. What exactly will the Sooners be up to this weekend?
It looks like a shortened practice with some fan availability. That's the way I would describe it.
Fan availability.
I think ticket sales are slow because on Tuesday or Wednesday they announced they were adding a 7-on-7 drill. So trying to spur some ticket sales. If that works, it would be quite the marketing campaign, I think.
Hopefully with fans in the 7-on-7.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that would be good. Yeah, throw a couple of Ponca City housewives out there in the middle of the field, see if you can complete a pass over them. So, yeah, it's going to be different, but it's access to the football team on a nice spring day, so some people will probably go for it.
I would be, and why not? What else? What else we got going on? It's only Augusta National and Masters, and Oklahoma softball's got a big weekend. I mean, not like there's anything else going on. Why not? Why not watch a bunch of guys running around in underwear? Amazing.
Well, yeah, and that's what it is. It's the first chance to see John Mateer.
That's
for
it.
Most people, and that's frankly, that's worth the price of admission.
How's that going, Barry?
Well, from all reports, it's going great. He was lauded as the one of the best quarterbacks in the portal, if not the best. And there's been a lot of talk about what a great leader he's become, or not become, has just from the start. Now, we heard a lot of the same things about Jackson Arnold, and that didn't really prove to be true. So, everybody's a little gun shy. But this is a guy you've actually got to watch, and he did some interesting things at Washington State. The competition wasn't always great, but he lit up some good teams. So I think people are pretty optimistic, and the new offensive coordinator and Ben Arbuckle, is there enough weapons? Is there enough blocking? We'll have to see.
What is the word on the street with that blocking offensive line? Not healthy last year, of course, had to rotate a lot. It was tough sledding, but is that group gaining some continuity? Do they feel like they've upgraded the talent? What are the word of the O-line coming out of Oklahoma spring practice?
Well, I mean, they think they're going to be better. Be hard pressed to be worse. A couple of portal additions, some holdovers. I actually had a nice recruiting. A 5-star offensive lineman, Michael Fasucci, signed with the Sooners. But you don't get too many true freshmen who help you in the offensive line. So I'm not sure if Fasucci comes in and plays immediately. I'm not sure that's a good sign. But they weren't, by the end of the year, they weren't terrible last year, but they still weren't very good. And that's not been the Oklahoma way forever. So, that needs to improve. Receivers need to stay healthy. Already they've had a fairly significant injury to Giovanni Gibson, the transfer from Pine Bluff, who had all kinds of rave reviews. So a little bit despondent in the receiving core. But if the offensive line can just get better, I think people will feel a lot better.
What about just defensively? So much leadership had to be replaced. So many great players that were excellent for a long time. I still really like what they have back, especially along the D line. I think they have some difference makers up there. I think they're pretty good, really at all 3 levels defensively. But I do think there is a little bit of a leadership void, given some of the personalities that were gone off last year's team. So how do we feel about adequately replacing some of the guys that really kept the accountability in check last year?
Well, I mean, you're talking about Billy Bowman and Danny Stutzman, who were landmark players. I think they've got some guys at those spots ready to fill in physically. Now, the leadership thing is a great question, but you've got guys who have done it. Like, people in Alabama know Kip Lewis pretty good. He hurt both of those squads in Alabama last year with pick sixes. And then you've got the Bowen brothers in the secondary, who are big-time players. The leadership we'll just have to see. The most important leader, of course, is Brent Venables, who is going back to being his own defensive coordinator. Most people think that's a good idea. Count me in the camp. He's the best part of the best part of having Brent Venables as a head coach is having Brent Venables available to be the defensive coordinator. So I don't see why you wouldn't capitalize on that opportunity. So I think the defense will be solid. I really do. It was solid last year. It was really good last year, and they still had a losing record. So, the offense is where most of the concern is. I think linebacker depth is really good. They've got some guys back from injury that they didn't have last year. Kendall Dolby might have been their best player the first 3 or 4 games, and then he had a broken leg and missed the rest of the year. So they've got got good depth on the line, and then we'll see on the secondary. But they're pretty, I think they're pretty good on defense, and it's just up to that offense to be halfway decent.
So where will your specific concerns be right now, Barry? We've heard some of the general ones like offense, but maybe certain parts of the offense or certain parts of the defense that specifically you still just don't know about or have real concerns with?
I would say the receivers. They got wiped out in the receivers last year with injury. Never really developed, many playmakers, and went to the portal. Had some freshmen who played some. Those guys, didn't show a ton. And then they brought in guys in the portal. Will those guys develop? Who knows? Deion Burks, who made it about halfway through the year, he's legit. He's a really good player. If he stays healthy, he'll be the prime guy. But they need, everybody needs 2 or 3 guys they can count on, and the Sooners didn't have that last year. And so they need some of these portal guys. Centega from Arkansas, who sounds like a pretty good player. They need those guys to develop and be productive. And you just don't know. That's part of the problem with the portal is sometimes you know what you're getting and sometimes you don't. And they need more hits than misses at receiver.
Are they pretty optimistic about how the schedule sets up? I mean, it's brutal, naturally.
No, no.
But it does feel a little more manageable than last year for whatever reason. I don't know why that is, but last year is like, oh God, maybe it's just the way I perceive the team. That might certainly play a role. But what do you make of the schedule?
Well, 2 things. One is they get 4 home games, SEC home games this year. Last year they only got 3 because the Texas game was a designated Oklahoma home game. So, that's a good place to start. You'd rather have 4 home games than 3. One difference you've got is Michigan comes in early. Last year it was Houston. This year it's Michigan. Unless we're talking basketball, that's a big step up. And, but, the Wolverines are a little bit in the same class as the Sooners in that they don't really, their offense doesn't really scare you. So if they can, they got Auburn and Michigan coming to Owen Field in September. If you win those games, which both are gettable, you got a chance to be, and probably should be, unbeaten going into Texas. And if you're unbeaten going into Texas, you're off to a really good start and just see what happens. But the schedule is brutal. I tell people say, well, what do you think of OU football this year? And I'll say, I think they're going to have a pretty good team. I don't know that they're going to have a pretty good record. If this team gets to 8 wins, I think that's a pretty good achievement, considering they've got road games at Tuscaloosa, Knoxville, Columbia, South Carolina, and then of course the Texas game, and then a home game or 2 that nothing easy about, starting with LSU. So, the schedule is very difficult, but if they can get off to a good start, then create momentum, who knows? But Michigan and Auburn, those are the two key games in September.
You have a pretty good grasp on it, Barry. What do you believe the fans' realistic expectation is for this fall?
I think they've actually been sobered up pretty good by the last 3 years. The OU's problem started before they entered the SEC. They had a 6-7 season in 22 in the Big 12. They went 3-6 in the Big 12 in 2022, and realized that the program had sort of slid sideways or back quite a bit. So I think if this team could go 4-4 in the SEC, get to 8 wins in the regular season, I think people would be pretty pleased. I think they would take that as a really good sign. I know I would. So I don't, the visions of making it to Atlanta, that's nobody really has that in their minds. The schedule is just too daunting. If we keep the 8-game schedule in the conference, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But if they do and it flips next year, it's going to be a much more manageable, I think, conference schedule. A year from now, I think optimism would spike next season. But first, they got to get through this season.
Barry, we appreciate the time this morning. Enjoy whatever it is that you're going to see tomorrow. Hopefully, get some actual football in there at some point. We look forward to having you back here again soon.
Glad to do it. I'm banking on the 7-on-7. That's where my
there we go. Now we're
lie.
talking.
We'll learn a lot there with this team. So, thank you, Barry.
Okay.
There you go. Barry Trammell covers the Oklahoma Sooners. You can follow him on Twitter at Barry Trammell. That's BERRYTRAMEL. Find his work at TulsaWorld.com. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, what we're going to get, what we're going to learn. I do think that is a school, Greg, that 7-on-7 specifically could give me a little bit of just what to expect, maybe answer a couple of questions, just Mateer and some of those receivers. Were you surprised to hear Barry say that receiver was a little bit of a concern for him?
No, not at all, because of how much of a concern it became last year. I think it's a little PTSD. How could it not be? Look at what happened last year, what transpired with how many injuries they had and how just really ravaged what was an offense that had some promise. I mean, they turned basically at the end of the year to a one-dimensional run or by any means necessary type of outfit because they had no guys. At one point, I think they had 2 scholarship receivers available.
Yeah.
That's insane. Now, on the high side, assuming everyone stays healthy, cook them with gas. On the low side, you back to where they were last year, you're dead. Especially when the offense has shifted in the direction that it has with Mateer.
You have to have them.
You have to have the wideouts and the weapons.
Okay. So a little bit more on Oklahoma throughout the course of the show today. There is an interesting development around college football, though, where potentially some negotiation is happening or not happening. There's no negotiation at Game Day Men's Health on your consultation because it's free. All you do is go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now, sign up, you get the free consultation. That includes a free PSA test, free testosterone test. You find out exactly where you are from a health perspective. Testosterone replacement therapy is available. Weight loss programs are available. And now the peptides are in stock at Game Day Men's Health. They've helped me with some things through peptides recently. Told you how tired I was. They said, come in, we'll put something together for you. They got me going. So Game Day Men's Health can help me out there. Also, they can help you out with weight loss programs, a lot of different aspects that they want to get you back healthy, get you back feeling good at Game Day Men's Health. Minimal upfront cost for the programs that they offer. Book your free consultation today at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. And tell them you heard about them right here on Mac and Cube, and you can save 10%. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Who is negotiating with their football program inside the SEC? Is it real? Is it not? We'll tell you who. And discuss it right after this on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 8:18, right here on Jocks 94.5, Friday, April 11th. Interesting developments potentially in Knoxville. And there are a couple of things that could go either direction with this. We don't know exactly what's going down, exactly what's happening, but there are reports of certain things that are taking place. We'll get to those in just a moment. If you want to listen to the show online, jocksfm.com. The app is in your app store, iPhone, Android. You can download that for free. Watch live on YouTube each and every day. Just search Jocks 945.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year, the national champs, the 5 years running national champion of GMC dealers. The deals are what make them the national champs. The amount of inventory, the sales that you can get, and the amount of people that return for repeat business. They go back again and again and again because of how good the experience is when you shop with Bill Smith. Take the short drive to Coleman to see what I'm talking about. Go get yourself a GMC Sierra 1500. This is an SLT trim. It's beautiful. $66,835 is what you'd pay at other places. But if you go up to Bill Smith, you'll take the short drive and you'll save $13,500 and you'll buy that vehicle for $53,335. It's deals like that that keep people coming back. That's why 75% is repeat business, and that's why they've been named the 8-time national champs, including 5 years running. Take the George out to Coleman. You'd be glad you did. You can also shop online. Have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
All right. Up in Knoxville, there was a report yesterday from Pete Nakos of On3 that Nico Iamaleava, it's actually pinned to the top of the On3 Twitter account now, knew Tennessee and Nico Iamaleava are in active contract negotiations ahead of the 2025 season at Pete Nakos reports. It is unclear if the negotiations will impact whether he enters the spring transfer portal. So just hearing that, Greg, doesn't sound good. Sounds like specifically how, why would this be happening now? Obviously, portal going to open in a couple of days, so you figure, all right.
Little leverage.
There was then a tweet 9 hours ago from Coach_Nick at Nick_Iamaleava. He tweets, more games being played off the field than on the field. BI7CH Nakos from On3 Sports called and asked me directly. I told him I had no idea on what he's talking about. He said his, quote, close source that he trusts with his life from the University of Tennessee staff gave him this information. Second tweet. So y'all can ask them what's going on because it ain't from us. Greg, where should we be on this?
I can't tell you what's going on and what's not going on. I don't blame anybody for testing the portal, especially if as long as this house settlement keeps getting kicked down the road a little bit. If for whatever reason this house settlement is not agreed to, by the time this spring window opens, it's going to be an absolute disaster. You talk to anybody that knows what's going on, major problems are coming if this house settlement is not figured out before this spring portal window opens. Like, you might think your team's in a good spot. You are probably wrong. So I think that's a big part of it. I think a lot of it could be, up in the air. The question is, if for whatever reason Nico, and I don't recall exactly how much he's making, $1 million, whatever, $1.5 million, $2 million. I don't even know what he's at. It was $8 million, right? A couple of years ago was how big the deal was, yeah. But you never know the specifics. Like, is he worth it? Like, I think that's the big question. Not so much that he's going to try to go to the table, but what would you spend for Nico Iamaleava? Because I remember last year, there being some times where Nico was not a super elite player. I do remember some times when he made a lot of great plays. Where is he on the pecking order of great quarterbacks in the country is my question. If John Mateer is worth 3, what's Nico worth? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure I can never provide the answer to that. I'll just be curious to see how it all goes down, because I thought there were some times where he was a little bit of a liability, but I also thought there were some times where he played really well for him in the absence of some elite playmakers at the wide receiver spot. So I don't know. Where do you stand on Nico?
You think that this could be a situation where, and this is all hypothesizing, none of us saying that we know specifically how this is going, what is being said, what's not being said, but there's a chance this could be maybe somebody in-house saying, hey, man, we could be spending this money somewhere else and helping you out. Or just, we're not sure we're going to be able to meet you at the table again with this amount of money that we promised you prior.
Right. I think you're better served if you're Nico. If this is me, if I were advising Nico, an extra $300,000 this year is not worth it. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like a lot of money to leave on the table potentially, but let me tell you what I'd rather have. I don't know. A receiver. Like, I'd rather have a right tackle. I'd rather have an eraser at middle linebacker. I don't care. Give me any of those positions because I want to win this year. Because you know what's going to pay me a lot more than $300,000? Getting drafted high. Having an NFL career that's extended because of where I was drafted and who I was drafted to. His draft prospects, he's got first round potential, right? Potential.
Sure.
He's nowhere near that right now, but he's got that potential.
Well, we're also going to see Nico without Dylan Sampson. We're also going to see Nico with, I mean, is there any part of you that thinks the receiving core as a whole is going to be upgraded this year? I don't know how.
I don't think they were great last year, though.
I'm not saying they were great, but are they going to be better this year? Maybe relying on two freshmen to get real snaps? Mike Matthews, Chris Brazzell, Braylon Staley, Amari Jefferson comes in to potentially help some from Alabama. We haven't seen him really in college football. I'm not saying that they're not going to be good, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're definitively going to be better at wide receiver.
No.
You do get Miles Kitselman back at tight end, which will help, but you lose a couple guys that also helped you there.
Right.
So the offensive line, I don't know if I'm not going to sit there and point at that group and say it's definitely going to be better either. And they weren't great late in the year I thought they were pretty good early in the year. So what's he going to have around him also? From the perspective of if this is what he was or wasn't, is his cast going to be able to help him take a big next step? You would imagine, listen, it's year two as a starter. You should get a little bit better. You should have better understanding of things. Games should slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all normal, but
you'd hope.
At the same time, as you pointed out, there were points last year that you looked at and said, is this that guy that everybody told us about?
Is he?
There were some layups that were missed. I can vouch for that. I mean, there were some a hitch, an out, a slant that were there more than one or two times that you looked at and said, I was on a couple of those games. You're kind of like, oh, man, that's picking up the ball and throwing it to first, as Coach Holtz would say. That's not, throwing somebody out from the right field foul pole at home. I mean, you're supposed to make that play.
Yep.
And some of them weren't. So I think the jury is out to an extent. Not saying that we're throwing in the towel on him.
No, gosh, no. Absolutely not.
I think what you're saying is just what exactly is it, and is it worth that price?
Well, I mean, he might be, because who would you rather have, Nico or Jackson Arnold?
I'm going to honestly say right now, I'd rather have Nico Iamaleava.
Okay, I agree. But
because one thing I did see him do is actually let go of the football.
Yes, I agree. I don't, by the way, that should not have been like a difficult question. It has nothing to do with your Auburn loyalty.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact. Has everything to do with the fact.
I didn't look at you like you were wearing an upside down logo hat after that question.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you, because I know you're fond of the upside down logo hat. But here's my thing. I honestly think Jackson Arnold's still going to be a pretty good player. I really do. I think Nico's a good player. I don't think he's an elite player right now. Could be elite based on his skill set. But my big challenge with this whole situation is, if I lose him, can I replace him? That's the problem. That's the fear.
Question.
I mean, and I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's irreplaceable. But one of the best available in the winter window was Jackson Arnold. That's not a great situation.
It's the same thing we talked about last year. is you can talk about going out and getting all these high-profile quarterbacks, but after two make their decisions, where are you going?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there weren't a lot out there. There's not a lot out there now. And if you're I'm talking about this specific instance, like you're going to Jake Merklinger.
Oh boy.
Is George McIntyre going to come in and play? I don't. Let's just say it this way: you don't have options there. You don't.
No.
So are you thinking that the spring portal window? And maybe that's where, if it were coming from, and this might not even be the family. This could legitimately be representation going to somebody in house.
Could be,
because that's how these things work now. There's so many different channels of operation that the father might not even know that somebody's negotiating on their behalf. It's possible that the agent's sitting there texting guys thinking, is there a way we could get this up $500,000 this year because there are people interested? So y'all know. And all of a sudden, receiver coach that recruited him or running back coach that recruited him is going down the hall in panic mode saying, this kid wants a new deal, guys. What are we going to do?
Yep.
That's how backwards a lot of the stuff is with the operations of NIL and deals and contracts and the whole thing right now in college football.
It's amazing. It
But
really is.
If there is an open negotiation at this point in time in the calendar that is willing and was sought after, then you got to wonder about a lot of other things with that football team.
Yeah. Insane. I mean, it really is. It's insane. It's surely a lack of availability.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question on the other side. I'll give you the break to think about it. Our listeners can also answer 800-239-9569. If you're a Tennessee fan, is this frustrating? You're frustrated with the person that reports this? Where are you on it? And then two, you talked about comparisons in the portal. Let's compare other SEC quarterbacks. How many other SEC starters or potential starters would you take over Nico Iamaleava right now? We'll discuss that next on Mac and Cube in the morning. 8:33 Friday, April 11th, Jocks 94.5, 800-239-9569. You want to get in, talking SEC quarterbacks right now. Reported negotiation happening between Tennessee and Nico Iamaleava. His father, Coach Iamaleava, says, nah, not from us. And I talked to the guy that reported it and told him we weren't doing it, but put it out there anyway. So we don't know exactly where it is, what's happening, but I will say that it's not helping things around the team, around the facility, either way. So then we asked the question of, if you rolled this into by the way, do we need to get a master scoreboard update first here from Greg McElroy? I feel the leaderboard has changed.
Justin Rose on 2, hitting into the bunker on his second shot, a rare miss from the incredible Englishman. He hits his bunker shot up to about 13 feet and drains it to get to 8 under. He has the lead by 4.
He has gained a stroke, and your leader now 8 under at Augusta National, round 2 underway. Next player set to tee off would be Corey Connors, as far as the leaderboard is concerned. That would be at 10:22. He is sitting at 4 under, along with Scheffler, who's off at 11:23 today. Ludwig Auberg is off at, here in about 20 minutes. It looks like he'll go. He is 4 under as well. And then the groups after that will begin to go. All right, so if we're looking at other SEC quarterbacks that you would or would not take ahead of Nico Iamaleava, where would Nico fall? Definitively guys that you are taking ahead of him. Greg, let's start with those. I imagine it would be safe for me to place Garrett Nussmeier ahead of Nico Iamaleava for you.
I think that's a safe bet.
Lagway?
Same category.
Which one are you taking, though?
I have to pick one?
You have to pick one.
I'd take Lagway, but it's
Sellers.
More on the upside.
You answered the question. Lenora Sellers.
I'd take Nico.
Okay, so not Lenora Sellers.
Nah.
Arch Manning.
Arch.
Okay. Gunnar Stockton.
Nico.
Ty Simpson.
Nico.
Marcel Reed.
Nico.
Taylon Green. This is a good one.
Taylon Green.
Yeah, it's closer than people think.
He's a beast.
It's really close.
I think he's going to be really good this year. And I think
my only concern is receiver, but I think he has a chance to have a big year.
But he's got major upside potential. But I think they're very similar. I think Taylon Green's a little better runner, so I will take him.
John Mateer. We already asked the Jackson Arnold question, so I'm assuming that's going to be Nico.
Yes.
Zach Calzada. It's a real question. I mean, listen, you got to throw it out there.
He could throw it.
Is it Nico?
Yes.
Yeah. Blake Shapen.
I mean, Shapen, when he's good, he's healthy. He's really good. The problem is he's never healthy. You know what I mean? If he could put together, he's a little like Tyler Shuck. Like if Tyler Shuck could ever just stay healthy, it was never about talent. It was never about production, but he just couldn't stay healthy. I have to take Nico because he's finished the season. Like Blake Shapen hasn't.
Well, there are other people too that are super excited about a couple of the other guys like Kamario Taylor, the freshman, who's probably not going to play this year, but does give you something a little bit different. And then we get to a couple of really interesting names. I will start with Austin Simmons. We know how high you are on him. We know how much you like him. Is it Austin Simmons or is it Nico Iamaleava?
Nico, but Austin Simmons hasn't played. I mean, we've seen him play how many meaningful snaps in his career?
7?
15?
All right, Bo Pribula. Another interesting name because we feel like we have an idea.
I like Bo Pribula. I think he's going to be good, but I'm still taking Nico right now.
I don't think you can take him ahead of Nico right now.
Not right now.
I think you got
that would be a way too aggressive.
Still a little bit of wait and see right now.
Big fan of Pribula, by the way. I think he's going to have a nice year. I think it's a great pickup for Drink.
If all things are equal, you are not allowed to add, subtract, and, if, or, but to this question. Everything is what it is right this very second. Are you taking Nico Iamaleava or Diego Pavia?
For their
You're
offense.
not allowed to do that.
For their offense.
You're not allowed to do that. I just stated there is no and, if, or, but.
Still taking Nico.
Everything is equal.
Still taking Nico. Faux show.
But you had to think about it for a second at least.
No.
So if that's the case, then we talked about the difficulties in replacing guys. And if you wanted to sort of put it in line of the rest of the SEC, I would have come up with 5, came up with 4 quarterbacks that you would take instead of Nico Iamaleava in the SEC. Think about that. Just kind of shows you where it is, that even if there are people that are questioning it, wondering about it, not certain about it, there are only, in a couple of those, we even debated back and forth with those. Like a Lagway was close. A Mateer was maybe a little bit close. But you can make the argument that the Arch Manning thing should be the slam dunk that a lot of people would say it is. I don't really have a big problem with it, but I mean, who's done more in games?
I think the Arch Manning is a big roll of the dice.
The talent part is close.
Yeah, it's a big roll of the dice. But I have a feeling with his situation, with his supporting cast, with his...
Well, his situation includes a lot of pluses, and that is obviously who he has in his camp, what his camp is telling him, what his camp has told him forever, who is coaching him, how he's coaching him, what that system has done, has been before. There's just a lot of things that lean his way. If Arch was at Kentucky
and it was purely about talent, I'd take Nico. But because of where Arch is, it's almost impossible for me to see a scenario where Arch fails. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So when you really think about it, doesn't mean it can't happen. It doesn't mean circumstantial things can't go down. They can, but it's almost impossible knowing that he's entering year 3. He's in a good spot. Him and Nico are the same age, are they not? I believe they are.
I think so, yeah.
So, but he's been groomed. He's been prepared. He's taken his time. He's gotten some spot duty. He's got a couple starts. I just think his situation's considerably better than what Nico's situation is. And that's a factor.
It is an intriguing debate on where you would go with certain quarterbacks in this league. And then when we begin to talk about it as far as what will be down the road, when we talked about a couple of these other guys, like you mentioned Blake Shapen, and after I brought him up, he could end up having a big year. It's year 2 in that offense. That offense is going to allow you to put up numbers. Now, I'm a little worried about receivers that left, but it's feasible. Jackson Arnold could have a big year in that offense with those receivers and what he's got around him. The offensive line may be a little bit better. He could have a huge year. We mentioned Taylor Green could have a monster year. Bo Perbula could have a big year. Austin Simmons could have a big year. We hadn't seen quarterbacks put up numbers in that offense. Lenore Sellers could have a monster year. So what's intriguing, Gunnar Stockton, we don't really know what that thing is going to look like, what he's going to be like. Ty Simpson could have a big year. It is interesting, though, that there's only 4 that we would put definitively ahead of him now, but it feels like there's about another 4 to 6 that we could say, well, let's see how this year goes.
Could be, and
see how it goes. And Diego Pavia might be one of those guys at the end of this year where we say, yeah, he was just that dude. Like, he would have been the choice if we went back in time.
And he could be at the top at the end of this year. I mean, if he takes a step and starts hitting everything downfield and is lights out, he could be number 1.
Well, I'll think it's fair, and I'll step out on this limb. You don't have to. I'll step out on the limb and say that the overall development of Diego Pavia, there's not that runway is not super long. I think I'm
talking about Nico.
We're way on down.
I'm not talking about
sorry.
Diego.
I thought you were about Pavia.
No, he's as good as he's going to get.
The wheels are about off the ground there.
Yeah, he's as good as he's going to get. He ain't going to get much better. Now, he can have good performances. Like if for whatever reason he had a few more performances like the one he had against Alabama, then sure, it could be a different animal. But for the most part, he's probably as good as they're going to get.
An interesting quarterback discussion around the Southeastern Conference. Let us know your thoughts. 800-239-9569. 800-239-WJOX. And some of those names are where they are because of how confident we are with the floor. And that we don't think that the floor is pretty high with a lot of those guys. It's not going to be super low. But if you are worried about the floor in your home, Greg, who should they call?
That'd be Shannara Flooring. They do such a great job. And what I appreciate is that they have so much inventory on stock, so I can go see it, touch it, feel it, figure out if it's for me before I even go and decide to install it in my home. At Shannara Flooring, they have an amazing 40,000 square feet of CoreTech flooring by Shaw that is in stock. They're the only company in this community that has that many square feet of CoreTech flooring. It's incredible just how much they have. And this is the beautiful flooring. I mean, kid-proof, pet-proof, 100% waterproof. They're so easy to clean. They're so easy to maintain. And they're ideal for kitchens, laundry rooms, bathrooms, pretty much everywhere. If you get 12 months financing right now with approved credit, if you go with Fu and his guys, because they're the contractor that I would trust if I were thinking about making some adjustments to my floor. So if you're thinking about doing that, call who? Call Fu. Call them today at 205-518-6423, or you can go online at fuandyou.com.
All right, when we come back, we will discuss a little bit more around quarterbacks in the Southeastern Conference next on Mac and Cube in the morning. Mark Blackburn coming up at 9 o'clock. Talk more Masters. If I were to ask you, Greg, of the quarterbacks that we mentioned that are not in most people say top 3 in the league right now, who would you have as far as guy that's going to gain the most ground this year? Guy that right now might be looked at by most people as number 6, number 8, outside the top 5 or just not definitively one of the best quarterbacks in the league. When we're sitting here, what's it going to be? I don't know, 9 months from now?
Yeah.
Whatever that is. And we're talking about what happened across the course of the year. Man, we didn't, that was the guy that nobody was talking about or not enough people talking about, or that we couldn't put him above these other 5 or 6 guys. Which guy goes from where they are now and gains the most ground throughout the course of this year in more so the public's eye?
Gunnar Stockton.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty safe bet. Got a good supporting cast.
But there are concerns with that cast.
Some. But still a good supporting cast, though. I mean, how much better can Zach Calzada's situation get? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. There's a lot of questions surrounding it. I still think that some of the guys that Georgia was able to bring in are beneficial. If you look at, for example, I mean, what are the odds that Noah Thomas becomes a real difference maker? I think pretty decent, right? Not out of the realm of possibility. We know Zachariah Branch is a handful with the ball in his hands. I don't know how good he is as a traditional wide receiver, but he's a handful with the ball in his hands. So I think all things considered, you got to like what they did in the portal. And I think an improved running attack will be helpful as well. He also is a good runner. I think he gives me Connor Shaw vibes. Like when I see him and I watch him, he gives me Connor Shaw vibes. I think Connor Shaw is a heck of a player, or at least at the college level, he was a heck of a player. So I think he's a guy at the end of the year, everyone's gonna be like, dang, how'd we miss on him?
Yeah.
Assuming he wins the job,
though.
by the way. We don't know that for sure, but assuming he wins the job.
That might not wow a lot of people, but if you're a Georgia fan out there and you're comparing, you're thinking about Matt Stafford and David Green, and you're thinking about Justin Fields, some of these other quarterbacks that have been in a Georgia uniform semi-recently. Connor Shaw, if you're not jumping up for joy saying you would take that college career right now from Gunnar Stockton, you're crazy. I'll just say that right now. If Georgia gets Connor Shaw from Gunnar Stockton, they'll compete for a national title. Because think about the differences in cast that those had. I know you had, an all-time running back and maybe an all-time defensive end or, a really good receiver with Connor Shaw. But I think Connor Shaw is one of the most underrated just all-around football players the SEC's ever seen because no one talks about him ever. Never gets talked about as one of the great players in this league. I think, Greg, if you got a Connor Shaw career from Gunnar Stockton, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Without question. I think Connor Shaw is a great player. I don't care about NFL. Everyone gets all enamored with NFL. Oh, well, he's a first-round pick. I could care less. I don't care what you do in the NFL. If I'm a college football coach or a college football analyst, I want a great college football player.
Right.
I could care less.
I don't care about your draft.
About your prospects. I don't care. I don't know if Connor Shaw will be an NFL player. He doesn't really have a skill set like that. Yes. What did I say?
You said Connor Shaw, but we know what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I don't care if Gunnar Stockton doesn't do anything in the NFL. If he's a good college player and he's Sam Ehlinger 2.0,
we'll win games.
We can cook.
Sam Ehlinger, another good comp there. Is not saying comp as far as they favor one another, but just career that you would be thrilled with because of how good it was in college, but maybe didn't translate to the NFL. You'll take that right now. At least I would. I know. I like Gunnar Stockton a lot. And there were a couple of balls that you saw him fit in when he did get to play late last year. And you're like, okay, I see it. There it is. Obviously, you love the toughness, man. I don't know how anybody can not like a guy that just gets his helmet knocked off and wants to stay in the game. He's not going to be afraid of contact. He's got good wheels. He can break you down with his legs. Tough. I think stature may hurt him a little bit in the pocket. He's got a strong enough arm, Greg. I just don't know if we've consistently seen him be asked to throw the ball a whole lot.
He can throw it. He's fine.
I know he can, but I mean, from an accuracy, consistently hitting the other part of what we talked about with Nico Iamaleava. Is that going to be consistent with him? Because Nico misses some layups. Is Gunnar Stockton going to hit the layups?
He won't miss layups. Now, he might not be able to throw it 75 yards downfield, but he won't miss layups. I think he's a gamer. And I love gamers. I don't care. Like there are so many guys in college that I love, like Diego Pavia. I think he's a great college football player. He's a gamer.
Yeah, no doubt.
The guy just
you'll take it
all day long.
Nick Marshall,
gamer,
take it.
Total baller.
Got to go run past you, but he's not going to play in the NFL.
He's a baller, just a total baller. Nick Marshall's a great example of that. Like I
Hell,
love
Jared Lorenzen. Tebow, honestly.
Yeah, Tebow,
mean,
gamer, baller. Just a good player.
You think Tebow was wowing people in 7-on-7 every day of practice?
I've seen it.
Probably not.
Can tell you with certainty, no. But tell you what, you put him in there on a short yard situation. We got action.
He's gonna win games.
he's gonna find a way, and you gotta love a guy like that. There's so many guys like that. I mean, Jordan Ta'amu, baller. You know what I mean? Baller, great player. Matt Corral, great player. Not an NFL guy.
Nope.
But great player. I think that's all you can ask for when it comes to Gunnar Stockton. Be great.
And you feel like it's almost kind of like Georgia has gotten away from the just get the job done guy quarterback to the like how much of a 5-star high ceiling uber talent guy can we get and jam him in there? Maybe it would be good to kind of for them to go back a little bit to the, hey, just get the job done, man. Like just do your job, find a way to make a play when it matters, bring a little edge and toughness. It doesn't matter if you're number 1 overall pick. It doesn't matter if you're, have the ceiling of this guy, that guy, whatever guy. Just get us a guy in here that I'd say the number one thing that I feel like Georgia could benefit from Gunnar Stockton is what we saw from the Georgia sideline coming out of halftime in Atlanta when it was pretty much known that he was going in.
Or when he got his helmet knocked off trying to win the game. When he got decapitated on the field.
But yes, that too. But like I saw the sideline. We were down there watching it because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I talked to, I believe it was Molly that had talked to Kirby coming out. We were trying to figure out, is he going to go? Is he in? He's out. Where's Carson Beck here? And then you could see where he kind of went out on the field and started throwing, and the rest of the team figured it out. That whole sideline changed. They erupted. I'll take that over any of the measurable NFL stuff.
100%.
My team has my back. Like Jalen Walker said after the game when he was asked how he felt about Gunnar coming in, he said, that was my quarterback. Uh-oh. That says more about the other guy than it does him, but I also want my guys thinking that about my guy.
But also think about this. Like, think about how many guys we've seen that have running ability that are not willing to put their body on the line and die on the field. Gunnar Stockton was willing to die on the field for his team. And you don't think that has an impact? 100% that has an impact on how the guys play for him.
He'll take those bullets.
How many times did you see him evade a big hole because he's going to get hit and bounce it to the outside and, not tackle somebody down the sideline?
Back to Augusta. Mark Blackburn is there. We get his take on the course, how it's playing, how it's going to play today, and urinating in creeks. Next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Before we go to Mark Blackburn and get his thoughts on Augusta today, everything happening, another golf course that people love is St. Andrews. We'll tell you about a different Andrews. It's Andrews Sports Medicine. There's a reason Auburn Athletics hand-selected Andrews Sports Medicine's Dr. Benton Emblem and Dr. Charles Pitts to serve as their team physicians. They provide the highest quality of sports medicine care in an effort to keep the Tiger student athletes safe, healthy, and competing at the highest level. If Andrews Sports Medicine is the choice for Auburn Athletics, there's no doubt they should be your family's number one choice for sports medicine and orthopedic care. Andrews Sports Medicine, 7 locations across Central Alabama, Birmingham, Coleman, Gardendale, Hoover, Pelham, and Trustville. They offer same-day, next-day appointments for acute sports injuries. Visit andrewsportsmedicine.com today to begin your journey of achieving victory over injury. Mark Blackburn joining us now. Higginbotham Hotline. Mark, what are we expecting from the conditions today that might be a little bit different than they were yesterday?
It's definitely cold this morning, and this afternoon the wind's starting to pick up. I think it's going to get pretty challenging for the guys this afternoon. I think the greens will get very, very firm, and with gusts up to 30 miles an hour, I'm very thankful that all of my guys are already on the course this morning.
One of your guys, Justin Rose, has been off the charts. I don't know what you've done with his putter, but my goodness. I mean, he is just playing out of his mind and has been so good in these first, 23 holes or so. So what has been the message that you've had with Justin Rose the last couple of weeks to get him in this kind of form?
He plays Augusta really, really well. This is his 20th year. He just knows the golf course so well. And this year he's playing the events before the major so that when we get to the major, he's not thinking about his golf swing, what he needs to do. Technically, he can focus on the golf course, and he knows this golf course better than anyone.
He just had one of the most remarkable shots I've seen in the tournament so far. He hit his 7-wood he's on 4. He hit his 7-wood. He might have hit it 100 yards. It went straight up in the air. I don't know if it just caught the high side of the face, but then he pulls a wedge, hits it to about 2 feet. I mean, just unflappable, being able to bounce back from what was a bit of an errant tee shot.
Yeah, one of our sort of mantras this week is acceptance and really trying to, go play the next shot. And I think he's played so well in so many majors and he plays well in these competitions. I think he really has the ability to do that. So nothing really surprises me. If he puts himself in a bad spot, I think he'll be able to navigate it and get out of it. Obviously, short game's a big part of playing well in majors, and he's kind of sharp with that this week.
Mark Blackburn joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, multiple swing coach of the year over at Augusta National. Greg has been frustrated with the antics of Jose Luis Ballester from yesterday. Is there a lot of discussion over there? Guys upset, don't care, frustrated, mad? What's the discussion been?
Well, most of us are quite astounded that he decided that urinating in Ray's Creek was a good idea. But I think he was getting reprimanded because I saw him on the putting green last night with the 2 head professionals from Augusta National, and it didn't look like he was, too happy with the conversation. So yeah, most of us are quite astounded that somebody actually did that. So there's a first for everything. Nothing surprises me these days.
Absolutely wild. It's been one of the big talks of the weekend. Other talks of the weekend are just how the course is shaping up with so few trees, relatively speaking. I don't know exactly how many they lost, but I'm watching yesterday. I'm like, everyone talked about how different the course would look. I don't feel like it looked any different. I don't think it played any different. Maybe 10 played a little different, but other than that, it didn't seem like it had a huge effect. So with all the trees that were knocked down because of the storm, how different is the course playing?
No, to be fair, look, they've got 3 new greens, number 1, number 8, and number 15. They had to rebuild those greens due to damage. The rest of the golf course is pretty much the same. There's some views that when you're here in person, the patrons will be able to see Augusta Country Club and some other views down the side of number 11 that historically you haven't. But as you would expect, Augusta National is very creative with their CBS television coverage, so you guys at home would never know that. But, the course itself, other than those greens being quite firm, is pretty much, unchanged from last year. So not too many drastic changes, just those greens are very firm, those new greens.
What about the weekend? What's the forecast look like as far as how you guys believe the course will play after today?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I think one of the things that people don't appreciate here is that this golf course changes dramatically as the week goes on. And so we've got some wind today. The golf course will get very fast. So if you ever come and play Augusta National outside of the Masters, it's lush. It plays quite long. The fairways are, long. Well, they'll get really, really firm and fast. And so the golf course will just continue to play harder and harder. They've got sub-air, and the greens will definitely get firmer and faster. Yesterday afternoon, Daniel Berger was making fun. He said, I think these greens by the end of the day felt like they were rolling about 16. So they get so firm and fast. So it will play harder, more challenging, and then Saturday the pins will be difficult, and Sunday they'll put the pins in scoreable positions to make it a bit of a shootout.
Everybody knows those Sunday traditional pin placements, but with the wind coming in, it doesn't look like there's any moisture in the forecast. It's just going to continue to get faster. Does that favor the Bombers, or does that kind of bring the rest of the field into it as the course gets more firm and fast?
Yeah, it's just a higher premium, to be fair, on the better iron player. So you just have to have precision on your distance. The better ball striker, better iron players, when it gets firmer and faster, you just have way less margin for error. So you have to be really good on your distances and your landing spots. And here, to get the ball close to the hole, you just got to get in the right quadrant. So that's why you see, perennially the best iron players are the guys who tend to do really well at Augusta.
It's amazing to me how many times, and look, I'm not picking on Rory McElroy. We saw Patrick Cantlay put 2 in the water on 15. But 15 is a hole that seemingly has changed a lot. I feel like more and more guys go for it in 2. Justin Rose yesterday misses right. It was a good miss. You know what I mean? I think he might have been even aiming for the bunker. But I look at 15, and I'm feeling like more and more guys are actually chipping from behind the green than I ever recall. Is that become the new play on 15, is to hit it over the green and chip back towards the water? Because to me, that is way too delicate to ever consider.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you get down there, the layup is difficult there, especially when the pin gets on the front, because you're hitting off a downhill lie to a front pin. So most folks, if they're in a good position off the tee, will be playing for that right bunker. So that basically that's where Rosie was trying to go yesterday. He just hit it a little bit long, but you play from that right bunker, and then you can just dump it out, and it kind of rolls out to the hole. But they end up at the back of the green generally as a consequence of going for the green. It's not that they're intentionally playing for the back of it. It's just so firm, especially the back part of that green as it's new. So these guys just end up there because they're intentionally probably playing more right, obviously favoring slightly more to the middle of the green because they don't want to come up short in the water. So the ball just collects at the back of the green. But yeah, it's a very dicey chip putt back down towards the water, and you'll certainly see people put it in the water from behind the green.
What's the hardest hole out there right now? Is it still 11?
It's all wind dependent here. I would say number 5 is a very hard hole. The dogleg left with the bunkers in front, down the left side of the fairway. That hole can play really hard, especially when it's into the wind. 11 is a hard hole into the wind. So if you get through 10, 11, 12, you through those holes. The other holes are all potentially birdie holes.
Mark, I like a quick question for you on those greens and when they do get more and more firm throughout the course of the week. I think a lot of people, they hear that, they realize, chipping is going to be difficult, ball's going to roll, or putting is going to be difficult because you got a chance to push it 6 to 8 feet past the hole. Go a little bit further back than that. From an approach shot perspective, does that force you to try to hit a lower iron harder to get more height and stop the ball on the green? How much more back and forth is there as far as club selection when it's going to be that much more difficult to stop the ball on an approach shot from, say, more than 50 yards out?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, most of the time you're looking for land angle. When the greens get really firm, your land angle is your best stopping power. So you're going to start to see guys hit fuller shots and trying to send the ball up in the air with really a lot of peak height, so the ball's dropping, almost as close to vertical as they can get it. That's their best stopping power. And then the most important thing is really trying to keep the ball below the hole. A lot of times you'd rather be on the front of the green or on the fringe, putting up the hill, than you would be, say, 10, 15 feet behind the hole, because the putts are impossible once they get downhill. They're so fast, there's so much break, it just becomes really, really difficult.
It's absolutely wild. When you look at some of the guys who are in good form, of course, Rosie's playing out of his mind. Let's hope that can continue. But if you're right there and you're a diehard fan of Justin Rose like you are as his swing coach, who are the guys that are behind him that concern you, that can go deep and that can make a ridiculous run? And we know Scotty Scheffler, but is there someone else that's hitting the ball really well, playing really well right now that you have your eye on?
Ideally, I'd like to say Daniel Berger's playing fantastic, and he's one of my guys. He's been playing really, really well. So we'll see. He's in 7th place at 2 under. But Ludwig Aberg, first Masters last year, played great. He's built for majors. Corey Connors.
What makes him built for majors? Because he's just incredible. Like, the guy is just incredible. He doesn't look like he cares.
Yeah.
Like, what makes him built for majors?
Yeah, very stoic. Seems to be very even-keeled, but phenomenal ball hitter. Drives the ball very straight, very far. Great iron player. So he does all the right things. Tidy short game, decent putter, and he just kind of hangs around. But he's got that mindset, very stoic, which is good for majors. He's incredible. Corey Connors is Canadian, hits a draw, very good ball striker. See how he does on the greens in his short game, but from a ball striking standpoint, he's obviously really, really good. And then you got Bryson. And if Bryson is on, just can destroy the par 5. So I think he's come out and said that Augusta's a par 67 in his mind anyway. So he's going to be kind of in the mix. But it should be interesting. And there's some other players down there in the top 10, Jason Day, Harris English, Aaron Rye, Akshay. There's some good players. So it shapes up to be good. The guys who are out this morning have a massive advantage. So if you were late early, you are really going to be enjoying things. This afternoon, it'll be sit down, get your popcorn, and start laughing, because there could probably be some really interesting stuff happen.
Great stuff, Mark. We always appreciate the time, man. It's great insight from you. We love to get it, and appreciate you taking some time for us this morning from Augusta.
Appreciate it. You'll have a great weekend. Thanks very much.
Any swing tips for when I tee off today? Anything I need to be thinking about?
You just need to be practicing for the member at Shoal as my partner.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it going. There ain't no doubt about that. We're gonna bust them up. Don't you sweat it. We got him, Coach. We got him.
All right, you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mark. There you go. Mark Blackburn, Swing Coach of the Year, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. So it sounds like it is a massive benefit, GMAC, for those that are out right now.
Sounds like
not just today, but maybe the rest of the weekend.
They're saying gusts up to 27 miles an hour.
He said 30.
First of all, I always feel like when I feel 30-mile-an-hour wind, you don't realize how hard that is. You know what I mean? Like I think that is absurd. It doesn't seem like a ridiculous amount, especially when you start to think about, severe weather. But in golf, the amount the ball moves, and these guys strike it and they hit it so pure, they can keep it low. They can do so many different things. I'll say this. The guys that grow up playing in like Texas and or coastal golf.
They're just tougher.
No. They're used to winds. Like coastal players, guys that grew up on the coast somewhere, whether it's Sea Island or, somewhere
Myrtle
like that.
Beach.
You look at the guys that grew up on the coast, seriously, and you look at guys that grew up in Texas, they handle the wind better. I don't know why that is. I can't explain it, but for whatever reason, they just handle it better. They know how to hit it low. They know how to keep it low. And then you look at some of the European players. Like if you look at the guys from Ireland and from Scotland and, places like that are exposed, it's not unusual for them to be playing in 25-mile-an-hour winds. So on days like today, especially in the afternoon, I'm always fascinated by watching the European players and how they navigate and how they keep it low and how they saw things off, compared to some of the American guys that want to hit it really, really high and really, really far.
Yeah, it's interesting to see kind of where things may be headed at Augusta this weekend. And if you could find a way, and you're on the course now, go low for the next stretch, that just individually could give you a big advantage over the rest of the golfers that are going to be out today and then the rest of the weekend, because then maybe you just looking to hold on to it. So we'll give you a scoreboard update on the other side as round 2 continues to move along there at Augusta National. If you're looking to move out of your home into a new home, Greg, who should you call?
Crocker Moving Search. They're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys, and you can trust them in your home. They need your whole home packed to move your company headquarters moved across the country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room. They got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you personally need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website is crockermovingservices.com. That's crockermovingservices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Services for your next move.
All right, when we come back, we'll hear from Kalen DeBoer on the Alabama quarterback situation as we head into technically the 8A game, even though it's not necessarily going to look like what we are used to it as, right after this on Mac and Cube in the morning. $9:19 Friday, April 11th, Jocks 94.5. 800-239-9569. You want to get in. Are you as upset as Greg is about Jose Luis Ballester
Sounds like I wasn't the only one.
with the upside down logo hat and taking a pee break in Rays Creek. And as swing coach of the year, Mark Blackburn just shared with us, Greg, there was a conversation apparently on the practice tee. Was that yesterday afternoon, he said, after his round?
Yes.
That did not appear as though it was a very friendly one.
Did not look like one that would be very fun.
Or at least Jose Luis was not a fan of what was being shared with him.
I don't think I would be either. And I don't think Jose Luis, I don't think he has a lot of fans within the membership at Augusta National either.
A lot of fans that go to Bromberg's, though, and they love what they get each and every time.
Yes, you absolutely should be a fan of what you get at Bromberg's. I've been going there for years. It's been a great experience every single time. Always appreciate what Bromberg's has done for me and my family. Go and buy those timeless pieces of jewelry. You can get luxury items. Natural diamond is one of a kind. It symbolizes the love of your life. It's an incredible thing that you need to buy. And, you know, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't know anything about diamonds. I couldn't tell you the first thing about them. But I am at peace knowing that when I shop at Bromberg's, I'm getting the best possible advice. I'm getting the best possible options. I'm getting the highest quality to choose from. So I'm always grateful to the experience I have when I walk in the door at Bromberg's. I know you will be too. Whether it's at Mountain Brook Village or at the Summit, it's Bromberg's who you should trust. So go and check them out. And you can always shop online at brombergs.com.
Before we move on, Jolly tweeting in, what is the thought on Georgia this upcoming season? SEC championship, national championship front runner, or back to competing with the rest of the pack? If it was back to that, how far back would we be going? Like 2015? 16?
Well, Georgia's been in the mix since 2017. They played in the national championship that year. They were obviously great in 15, but they lost.
14?
They were great in 12. They were great in 15. They were great in 17.
10?
And Georgia's been pretty good for a long time, guys.
8.
8, they were great.
6.
I don't remember what they were in 6.
They were really good in 99, but we set the school passing record on them and beat them by 30. So
I would say maybe 2009-10. That's the last year they didn't have back-to-back double-digit win seasons.
they're really good in 2000, but we just happened to beat them at home. Whoops.
Went to the Oahu Bowl that year.
Oahu?
Yeah.
The Who Bowl?
Oahu Bowl.
They went away to the Who Bowl?
Yeah. After catching an
Shame we don't have that one anymore. So what is the expectation, Greg, for Georgia this year? The real expectation? Let me put it this way. How many notches do they come down to make it disappointing for Georgia fans? Are we still on it has to be a national championship or get out of here? What is the unacceptable finish in your mind for Georgia fans this fall?
I think they reverted to the point now, and it's not a negative, but I think they're in the same boat as Bama. Making the playoff is a good year. You win the national championship, that's a bonus. I know it sounds crazy, but that's where we're at.
Playoff is the real expectation.
I think
so. If you don't get to the playoff, you think most Georgia fans are gonna be like, "What was that?"
Yes.
We can't have that.
100%.
Okay. Now let's look at the actual team and what they might be capable of. We've talked about the quarterback situation already today. Offensive line, you lose a lot of talent. A lot of guys didn't play great last year, so may not be the worst. Monroe Freeling's a guy they think highly of. Drew Bobo played some last year. Ernest Green was supposed to be great last year. It just that for whatever reason, it just kind of didn't happen. You'll get good help from your tight ends. Running back should be solid. And it's not like you're void of talent at wide receiver. Colby Young looks like he's back. Noah Thomas, big physical down the field guy, can go attack the football. You get a speed guy with Zachariah Branson. It feels like Georgia's always had that guy like Arian Smith that can just, Miko Hardman can run past everybody and help you every now and then. We both think London Humphreys should be playing and could absolutely help you. And Dylan Bell is your Swiss Army knife, do-it-all gadget guy. So they got the guys. What has to happen for it to be great instead of just pretty good? Or is the defense that big of a concern?
I don't think it's a huge concern. I mean, I'm not at the point where I'm losing sleep over it. Are you?
I don't feel like there's much involved with the Georgia football program I would lose sleep over, but no, definitely not that.
I think for Georgia, they're probably going to be in a scenario where they're expected to be in the top 4 every year. And I don't know if that's realistic. With where we're at now in college football, no one has enough depth to guarantee themselves a top 4 spot. Now, that's uncomfortable for a lot of people, especially those that support Alabama and those that support Georgia, when it's been kind of like a birthright to make the top 4 every year. It's not the case. It's really not the case. Like now with the depth, you're an injury away from being a pretty mediocre football team. I mean, that's the reality. So yeah. I think you make the playoff in the eras that we're dealing with now. I mean, think about Michigan. Michigan went from the national championship to 8-4. That happens a lot. Like, I think that's going to become more commonplace because it's hard. You peak to win the Natty and then you drop off.
Yeah.
And you peak to win the Natty, then you drop off. But this whole era of we're going to be Natty or bust every year, I just don't think we live in that era anymore.
I'm on board with you there, and I'm interested to see kind of what this team can find a way to turn into, because I feel like there are parts of it that could be really good. There are parts of it that you look at and say, I'm not so sure about that. There is one thing that is very different about this year's version of Georgia football that we haven't seen, I don't believe, in quite a while. It's been a long time since we've seen it. Tell our listeners about Polar Bear Services, and maybe I'll share it with you.
Well, Polar Bear Services has been terrific, and I've been using them forever. Wes and the guys have come into our house for a really long time, and I know that I'm going to have everything taken care of. When they get to where we're at our house, I know that if I have a problem with my HVAC system, it'll get taken care of immediately. I get them out before it gets hot, though, just to do a routine checkup. Twice a year, they come out before the winter, they come out before the summer, routine check up, make sure that everything's running smoothly so that when it is 106, I'm not going to be dying in my own home. That's what Polar Bear Service can do for you. They can do tune-up, duct cleaning, repair, new installations, you name it. They got it, serving all over the great state of Alabama. Remember, if you have a problem with your electrical, plumbing, heat, or air, just pick up the phone and call the Bear. It's 205-497-BEAR. That's 497-BEAR.
We do also have tweeting into the show Royal Payne, who says, us non-golf fans subjected to Masters talk for 3 or 4 days. Can we at least get an hour devoted to WrestleMania next week? Asking for a friend. We'll try to get Conrad on. I think we can do a segment. I don't know about a day, but that'd be okay. I'm way out of the loop there. I don't know. Like, what are we, John? Do we know what we're heading down the path of? Like, what's the road to WrestleMania look like right now? As far as has the main event been announced? Greg, do we know?
No.
It's 2 days, right? That's all I got.
It's been that for a
okay.
minute.
Yeah, that's
I think
all I got.
COVID started that. Yeah. It's turned into a whole weekend. But we'll get you updated on it. We'll try to get that going. What's different for Georgia this year as opposed to many years prior? I'll tell you next on Mac and Cube in the morning. 9:32, Friday, April 11th. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Stallions at home tonight. If you're looking for a reason to get out, something to do, something a little bit different, you'll get some live tackle football tonight as the Birmingham Stallions make their home debut. Renegades and former Birmingham spring football legend Luis Perez, the Renegades at 2-0. I told him Luis has made some nice throws. They didn't ask him to do a ton last week. There wasn't a lot of offense in that game last week. It was chilly. But you get that one and Matt Corral against the Stallions tonight, 7 p.m. on Fox if you can't make it. Birmingham, 4.5-point favorite in that game. I just tell you, hey, Renegades run game has added a lot of creativity.
Oh, boy.
They got Kalen Balazs, who can get downhill. And Perez and former Auburn tight end Sal Cannella are making some plays. Just be careful with that one. Be careful with that one. Now,
how are the Stallions faring so far?
they're fine. Offensive line played better last week. They got a couple guys out this week that is a little disappointing. But
better grades.
As we've said it before, there was the one guy covers the Stallions was joking with us because I guess Deontay Brown graded like 110%.
No.
In PFF this past week. I'm like, you know what?
10?
You actually made yourself look worse by doing that. You don't come out and say a guy had like a perfect grade and had a 1.5 grade before. We don't do that. That's not a real thing.
Stop.
Just get out of here.
Come on.
We're not doing it.
Come on.
Saturday, you will get Roughnecks Showboats, 1:30 on ESPN. Sunday, 11 a.m., right after church, get back to the television. It's the 0-2 Brahmas with a new offensive coordinator that's never called plays against the 1-1 Panthers on ABC. I'll be on the call for that one. It's going to be fun.
Let's ride.
I've never been to Ford Field. I'm looking forward to it. I have been to the Silverdome, but I've never been to Ford Field.
Pour one out for my left PCL. It's
you left it there?
Yeah, it's on the
in
on
Ford
the turf.
or in the Silverdome?
Ford. No, Ford. I appreciate that you thought I played in the Silverdome, but
I was at the Jerome Bettis coin flip game on Thanksgiving Day. That was my trip to the Silverdome. Didn't make it to WrestleMania 2 there, by the way, but
should have.
The old Pontiac.
Was that when Hulk Hogan fought Andre the Giant?
That was it.
Hey, look at me.
WrestleMania next week, right here on first talk with Mac and Cube.
Who is doing WrestleMania next week? What's the main event? John Cena?
I don't know. Damien, can you find that out for us, please? Can someone tweet that in? I'm not sure.
The Usos?
You would get Defenders Battlehawks, both 2-0, Sunday afternoon on ABC after Oregon. That'll be a good game. Battlehawks are playing good football. You talked about it. Manny Wilkins, a quarterback, looking good. Offensive line's playing well. They got a good pass rush.
I like Manny Wilkins. He's a good player.
Jordan Teamo's got a new offensive line. They're healthy. They got Abram Smith back. Now they lost their D coordinator this week, so don't know how that's going to go. But
who needs one of those?
Might be a little more sound without Craig Williams here. Although they have been playing good football. What do you got, John?
I got your WrestleMania 41 lineup. Night one, a triple threat match between
Triple H, The Rock, and Roman Reigns.
That would be 20 years ago.
Roman Reigns. WrestleMania, they always bring them back, though.
No, that's Royal Rumble when they dust off the old fogies and bring them back out.
No, the big headliners always come back for WrestleMania.
No.
Triple threat match between Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Seth Rollins, who I think look.
CM Punk, we didn't bring a guy back for WrestleMania.
He's been back for like a week and a half.
Yeah,
a week. See,
World Heavyweight title match.
Wait, who was the third person?
Seth Rollins. Who him and CM Punk, I think, kind of look the same.
Who was the first person?
Roman Reigns.
What's the difference between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns been relegated to a triple death match.
Yeah. Paul Heyman doesn't talk for the other ones, I guess.
Wow.
You also have a world heavyweight title match between Gunther and.
Wait, what is the triple threat match for?
Fun?
Yeah.
They don't need a trinket, Cole. They just doing it for doing it.
Ring.
Between Gunther and I almost read this as Jay Leno.
Hold on, who?
Gunther.
Stockton?
Sure. I almost read this as Jay Leno, but it's Joey Uso.
I'd rather see Jay Leno.
Oh no, it would be kind of. I mean, he can't take a punch.
Okay. What else we got? Women's championship match. Charlotte Flair
and Tiffany Stratton.
Is that Trish Stratus's cousin? I don't know.
Stratton.
I got it.
Night two.
Yes.
undisputed WWE championship between.
When do we battle for the disputed championship?
When does Logan Paul? When does Logan Paul fight?
Again, that's Rumble. That's when they dust off the losers and nobodies, and
They don't test for
When does
steroids
Jake
in
Paul
Rumble,
fight?
so he can fight there.
that would be Cody Rhodes and John Cena.
John
See?
Cena?
Y'all see, you made fun of me for saying they don't bring guys back, and here's John
They
Cena.
brought one guy
in an
back,
undisputed
not guys,
heavyweight
yeah.
title
Right.
match.
Makes sense. John
been
Cena
back.
hasn't done anything.
What do you mean he's been back? He's been doing movies.
Yeah, and that
they've-
dried up.
He weighs like 210 now.
Yeah, it dried up and he came back.
Yeah, well,
He doesn't even wear the jean shorts anymore.
He kind of does.
does he still rap?
He's a bad guy now.
He doesn't need to rap, Greg. He laid that one track down. It's going to go forever.
Heel turn? He did a heel turn?
Your intercontinental matchup.
Is it disputed or not disputed?
There's 4 people in there. So there's LeBron Breaker. Oh, wait, no,
If
sorry.
it was LeBron James, I might
Braun
be buying the
Breaker.
I'm about to say
pay-per-view.
Braun Breaker.
Versus Penta,
By the way,
versus-
Jokic should start going around calling himself the Braun Breaker.
Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor.
Dominic Mysterio, is that Ray's brother?
Nope.
Son. Grandson, maybe.
Speaking of which, Rey Mysterio's taking on El Grande
No,
Americano.
You can't be serious.
El Grande Americano?
Wait a
The
second.
big American?
Stop. Rey Mysterio is wrestling?
yeah,
Rey
why would he
Mysterio
stop?
was old when I was in college.
Correct.
No. You
I
don't
know
know
that-
that. You
I know
cannot
their
see his
tricks.
face.
And y'all out here
I
wanting
honestly thought you were going
to
to say you couldn't see his birth
say
certificate for a second.
LeBron James is the
God.
best when he's got his kid playing, when Rey Mysterio's out here wrestling with his son wrestling too. Come on now.
Wrestling or wrestling?
Yeah, we just, people don't get as mad about that, and I'm not really sure why.
I'm not
No,
going to
it's
lie.
the
I'm
same
kind of.
thing.
Is it bad that I'm kind of excited for WrestleMania now?
No.
Even though I don't care about a single one of those
Greg,
people.
I
Now that Cody
apologize.
finished his story
I am sorry. AJ Styles is taking on Logan Paul. I didn't see that. My
See?
bad. I'm sorry.
for the Intercontinental, probably.
Nope.
They got
That's
to
for-
bring in the YouTube audience.
that's for funsies.
Somehow. Man.
Who's
Uh,
McAfee fighting?
Who is
Ticket sales, apparently.
trying to get the $1 million out of the
One.
briefcase?
That would be, I think it was Cody Rhodes because he cashed in Money in the Bank.
Is
He
there,
had this matchup.
is there a street fight?
No.
There's not a no rules fight?
Correct.
Steel cage match.
Nope.
Why
Hell in a cell.
is Roman
What are we
Reigns
doing?
not
They're all
fighting for
regular
anything?
ring matches? Is
Yeah.
there a ladder match?
Nope.
Roman Reigns is the only guy I care about. Why is he not fighting for anything?
He is. It's the night before.
Yeah, the triple header dumb match.
Correct.
Is there a 3-fall match?
Nope. Peaked in the 90s.
Is there a time
Sorry.
limit match where Stone Cold can be put in the figure 4 leg lock with 30 seconds left and we see if he can hold out or
Stone
not?
Cold's taking pictures with his cat drinking wine, so no.
He's probably collecting checks.
Stone
for doing
Cold's
that.
drinking wine now?
Yeah, it was a weird
Freaking
look. Yeah.
soft.
You wouldn't say that to his face.
I just did. He's probably
He's
listening.
a Texan.
He's a Texan.
He'd never wear an upside down hat.
You know what they say about Stone
He
Cold in the
wouldn't.
ring? He's better against the wind. Why? From Texas.
That's right. Stone Cold ain't scared. No.
Why do you think
Uh,
Pat Mahomes can play in the playoffs?
Stone Cold ain't care
He's been
about.
throwing
no-
in the wind since he was 4.
Stone Cold, he'll take on the moguls at Augusta.
So there's not like a career match. There's not a contract match. There's not like a cash match.
Nope.
There's not like a lose your job match.
Correct. Nope. Just doing it for trinkets or for fun.
Is Vince coming back?
Probably not.
I'm not interested.
No, I don't think so.
Is Shane coming
Does
back?
Shane battle somebody?
I think I'd like to see that. I don't know. Maybe he'll show up on Stephanie's places. I'm not sure.
Shane's my guy.
I love Shane. The part about him and his son on the documentary was pretty awesome.
I did like that.
When
Yeah.
he came out and his kid, like he was saying
Yeah.
how cool it was that his kids got to watch him. They were there. That was pretty sweet.
Where is it this year?
New Orleans.
Vegas.
Vegas? How'd
Yeah.
they decide on Vegas?
Where? What arena?
Probably a bribe. I don't know.
MGM?
No, I bet you they're at the stadium.
What's that thing called?
Allegiant.
Yep, they are at Allegiant.
I was hoping it was going to be in the Sphere.
That would be so sick.
It was.
Golly, it'd be amazing.
Did you see the Sphere the other day when it was like a happy face and the eyes moved when
Yeah,
the plane
those
took
are- yeah,
off? It was
yeah.
pretty cool. I want to go see the Sphere. I haven't been to Vegas in a minute.
Oh, the Sphere is mind blowing. I haven't been inside, but I've seen it from the outside.
Did you see Fish inside?
No, I didn't. I just said I
Who are
hadn't
you
been
going to go?
inside.
Who would, if you had your call of who you got to see perform inside, who would it be? Fleetwood Mac?
Backstreet Boys.
Wow.
Chingy?
Backstreet Boys have like 10 or 12 concerts coming up there.
I'm going to.
I still think Dead and Co is what you
It's
probably.
a little disturbing.
I'm not even
that
like a
you
Grateful Dead guy.
reference and know as much about the Backstreet Boys as you do. Because if I'm not mistaken on this show, if we said that was your pick for the next halftime show at the Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Super Bowl.
They would have been
You
great.
said Backstreet Boys over anyone else.
Yes, they'd be great. They would do a great show. They would.
Debatable.
But then
Okay.
Britney Spears out there, and you'd have
That
an unbelievable.
I don't believe that would be a good show right now.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, it would be great. Be phenomenal.
Not for the NFL, it wouldn't. For Twitter, it would be fantastic.
Yes, correct.
Oh, so it's Sharknado. Okay.
Yeah, you can have like Tara Reid doing the
What
crip
do we-
walk over there on the side. You could do all kinds of fun stuff with it. Like,
Ashton Kutcher comes out
100%.
5 minutes in and says, "You're all punked."
Ashton Kutcher's out there, just flying around like the guy in the Creed.
Tommy Lee comes out
Video.
and says, "Welcome to Cribs.
Yeah,
I have an espresso machine in my house from
100%.
Starbucks."
Just everything like late
All
90s.
of it.
Yep.
Everyone. Here comes Rob and Big. Big ain't gonna make it out there, but Rob
No,
maybe
probably
could.
not, no.
100%. You could have Stifler's mom out there. You could have all kinds of fun stuff out there.
She's honestly probably the biggest star now amongst all of them.
No doubt. You guys, you could do. There's so many good things they could do for a halftime show. After last year, like we can go in a million different directions now.
Celebrity
like everything is on the table.
God, Celebrity Death was so bad. 2 episodes, it was awesome, and then you're like, okay, I've had enough of this. This is really stupid.
It was hilarious for about.
2 episods, and then you're like, no.
I don't even know if I got through the second episode.
Yeah, it's dumb.
But who was it? Mills Lane. They had the
Mills Lane.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
Golly, is great. Great cinema.
All right,
Great cinema.
Your CBD store has great products. If you need a better night's sleep, if you need to lose weight, the Trim by SunMed on shelves now at the largest brick and mortar CBD retailer on planet Earth. They want to help your daily routine, be it skincare, gut health for you or your pet, arthritis, anxiety for you or your pet. Go check them out. They're the first company to have USDA certified organic oil supplements. So if you need to curb the appetite, if you need more energy, better focus throughout the course of the day, they have products that can help you with that. At your CBD store, 3 locations. Highway 280 by Bailey Brothers, 150 by the Cage in Cleveland, Trussell just off 459. Your CBD store where good health hits home. Speaking of good health, something that is intended for that, but I'm not sure any of us will be on board with. I'll tell you what it is next on Mac and Cube in the morning. Super Sofa Game of the Week brought to you by TD's Fine Furniture in just a few moments. Something that is supposed to be for health and your health and to keep you healthy that I'm not sure we're going to be down with. We should be down with Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group. If you need a new home in Birmingham, Gusty Goulas has served more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. So he can help you with the inventory that's coming up that he knows about. Over 850 5-star Google reviews brokered by eXp Realty. So Google Gusty Goulas Group. See what people are saying. Go to GustyGoulasGroup.com right now. Button at the top of the page. You can click that. Very little information. Find out what your home is worth. Or call 205-542-1996 today. Or visit GustyGoulasGroup.com and start packing. Toothpaste is good for us, right?
Absolutely.
Helps with overall health.
Sometimes.
I've heard.
I mean, my kids don't really like it that much, but I feel like most of us appreciate it, use it, and put it to work. Supposed to be good for your hygiene.
Supposed to be.
Allegedly, according to the New York Post, Kentucky Fried Chicken has introduced a fried chicken flavored toothpaste, and it's selling. I'm not sure which portion of that is more surprising. Actually, when you see some things that are happening in movie theaters around the country right now at one specific film, it probably doesn't surprise me that teenagers would go out and buy fried chicken flavored toothpaste. But I can't fathom putting fried chicken flavored toothpaste on my toothbrush in the mornings and feeling good about myself.
No.
That's just disgusting. What
That
is your
would
mouth?
essentially give you fried chicken flavored breath.
Correct.
Yes?
Exactly.
Yes. And
Feels like a hard
like
pass
what's
for
next?
me.
Like a coffee flavored toothpaste? Like, so you have coffee breath? Like what, who wants this?
Maybe onion flavored.
Stop. No.
Ooh,
Pizza?
pizza rips.
Salsa flavored toothpaste? As long as you don't have to pay extra for more.
I don't know, dude.
Who's into this? Who wants this?
Don't know. Pretty nasty.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a no-go for me.
That's out.
Hard pass. Give us a Masters update before we go to our Super Sofa Game of the Week, which we know yours is just Masters all weekend long.
Yes.
As much as humanly possible.
Wall to wall. Right now, still sitting at 7 under par. It's Justin Rose, who is on the 7th hole right now, sizing up another lengthy putt. But Bryson DeChambeau, the early mover here, 4 under on the tournament, 1 under through 2 after birdieing the 2nd hole. And Rory McElroy back into red figures with another birdie on 2 in pretty remarkable bounce back fashion. He's now heading to the 4th tee at 1 under, tied for 16th.
We did get a tweet in from Royal Payne helping us out with next week. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins are fighting over the wise man, Paul Heyman.
Huh?
He has that as one word as well, like the wise man. Was he one of the 3? I've never heard him reference that before.
He feels like
Davey,
he
is
would
that
have
what he's
brought.
called now?
I have no idea.
He would have brought frankincense to the. Yeah.
It's Jesus.
Because CM Punk cashed in a favor. Also, at Cole Cubelic would love Braun Breaker, ex-football player, son of Rick Steiner, and his athleticism is incredible. Is he the one that also plays tight end for Jacksonville State?
I don't know. But do you think Paul Heyman will take whoever wins that battle and start ECW 2?
I hope so. I need more barbed wire matches and guys flying off rafters. All right, let's get to our Super Sofa Game of the weekend, brought to you by TD's. It is the one game that we would watch if that was all we had to choose. There's only one game that you can watch over the entire weekend. You tell us what it is. And, John, it's brought to us by?
That would be TD's Fine Furniture. Get that super sofa or anything for the home at TD's Fine Furniture. Check out their spring clearance sale going on now. Markdowns up to 30% throughout the store, including their Flex Steel home store. You can pick it up today or have it delivered. That's TD's Fine Furniture in Summerton.
Greg, your Fine Furniture brought to us by TD's Game of the weekend is?
That'll be the Masters Tournament.
Oh, geez.
That'll be Sunday.
It's not a game.
noon.
It's a match.
It's not. It's a collection of games.
Oh, so a spring game. Okay.
No,
Oh.
not quite. But the Masters Tournament, Sunday in particular, though, this final day at Augusta National, where Jim Nance will welcome us on
So
the air.
just
and say,
Sunday
hello, friends.
or the rest of today and all day Friday and all day Saturday?
Just
all day
Sunday.
Saturday.
Just
Sunday.
Just Sunday.
Just
Got it.
important.
Noted.
Big fan. Okay.
Damian, your TD's Fine Furniture Super Sofa game of the weekend is?
That would be tonight. If you can't find yourself too protective, Steve, you can watch on FS1 your Birmingham Stallions taking on the Arlington Renegades at 7 p.m.
It's listed as Fox. Is it FS1?
Oh, Fox too. Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, I think it's Fox.
Big Fox. Even better. That means Jenny Taft going to be here.
Okay. That'd be cool to have.
Yeah, that means
No,
I
you
got
gotta-
It doesn't always work that way,
I
but
mean, I thought you were out of that life, but okay.
But no, you can't find yourself protective. Make sure you tune in to Fox at 7 p.m. The Arlington Renegades take on your Birmingham Stallions. That's my TD's Fine Furniture Super Sofa
hey,
game
did I
of
see
the
a
weekend.
report last week that Brock is stepping away from television to coach his son?
Brock Heward?
Yes.
I had not heard that.
Interesting.
You can get to type and see what it says. John?
If I only get one game, I'm going tackle football, but I will go with the only undefeated matchup, Defenders on Battlehawks. I didn't want that one because you're going to promote your game.
I actually was going to take this game.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. I'll
I will
mine
want to see
instead.
my teammate at 11 o'clock on ABC, not wearing an upside-down hat. Brahmas and Panthers, 11 o'clock ABC with Cole Cubelic on the call.
God, the UFL did have the upside-down logo hat, and I would have to wear it just for Greg.
Oh, of
No, you
course.
wouldn't.
Somebody get mad.
No, you wouldn't.
Brahmas, Panthers, ABC at 11. We mentioned all the intrigue there, but yes, you're two of the three undefeated teams, potentially only two left if the Stallions get the job done tonight, will be the Defenders Battlehawks. 2 o'clock on ABC on Sunday. St. Louis, a 6.5-point favorite against the DC defense playing extremely well with Jordan Teamu, healthy offensive line, healthy Abram Smith in the backfield. Should be a fun game. There'll be two interesting games for two totally different reasons. On Sunday, ABC doubleheader of UFL, our Super Sofa games of the week. John, and it's brought to you by TD's Fine Furniture.
Yes, it is. Then don't forget, you can get that Super Sofa or anything for the home at TD's Fine Furniture. Check out their spring clearance sale going on now. You got markdowns up to 30% throughout the store, including their Flex Steel home store. You can pick it up today or have it delivered. That's TD Fine Furniture in Summerton, Greg.
Yeah, Greg. Did you find out anything about Brock?
Yeah, he's decided to step away. It was the final year of his contract last year. He is going to coach his son Titus in high school beginning this fall.
What a
so happy
name.
for him.
Titus Heward.
What a
That's
name.
wow.
Strong.
Okay, yeah. I
He
dig that one.
better, I mean, he probably plays quarterback, right? He better run some people over. With a name like Titus Heward, you got to run quarterback power.
Yes. QBP.
It's just got to happen.
Got to.
Appreciate new Stanford head basketball coach Lenny Acuff. Podcast up of that now. You can always go watch the YouTube again. It's up all day long. Barry Tremble talked to Oklahoma with us today. Mark Blackburn live from Augusta. We recap all of it Monday. Greg, you'll give us the full rundown of Augusta, correct?
Full rundown, full breakdown, shot-by-shot coverage.
Also Monday, Hugh Freeze will be with us at 9 a.m. The Auburn head football coach recaps their spring activities related to football over the weekend. We will recap those and have Paul Feinbaum at 7:15, three-man front coming at you next.